Forgive me, I feel bad. Am I the worst one that you've had? I wish that you would want me again till the end. I'm dreaming of something I can say out loud. I know we both know, but we don't make a sound. I'm dreaming of something I can say out loud, but I play you my quiet side.
Ladies and gentlemen, where are the party people at? Are you ready?
The distance between us, no, doesn't matter to me. If we never see each other, no, it doesn't matter to me. And we could forget all the things that we've done, as if we've never been to all the places we've gone. 'Cause as long as the skies are blue, as the ocean waves, you'll know the truth. That as long as the skies are blue, I will always, always love you. 'Cause as long as the skies are blue, as the ocean waves, you'll know the truth. That as long as the skies are blue, I will always, always love you.
What up, squad? You know the drill. Midweek Call of Duty always on the screen, whether it be Challengers Elite or the ACCL. You love to see it. We are back once again, boys and gals, for the ACCL Super League again, and we've got two rosters again, Pab. We've got one where we know a little bit about. The other, obviously, we casted Unbelievable Jeff before, I believe, but Hindered Gamers, we don't know much about at all. So again, another blank slate for us. More players to see what they can do.
It's like, honestly, it's been nice. The Super League's kind of opened us up to a whole new bunch of players. So yeah, it's been sweet. And I think the last 4 games we've cast, it's been one team we've been reasonably familiar with and one team has been completely new to us. So yeah, I mean, it makes a nice change, and it's good just to see some new players and get some, new faces under the casting belt as such.
Yeah, so Unbelievable Jeff, obviously the roster is Troc8, Dizzy T, Mr. Destroy, who we know quite a bit about, and Pac9, and then the boys have Hindered, DNF, CJ, I think it's maybe, is it Sean Neon? I'll have to double check. And then the last man's name, I'm pretty sure he does have an actual name. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Apologies to him. I will just double check now to make sure that I do say his correct name while I quickly frantically scroll through Twitter, because it was there. Where is it? Right, it says it here. Reese, there you go. So we're not going to have to call him for the whole time. That is Reese. So plenty to go from, and we do know the maps as well, guys. We've got the boys in this one having another game of triple Tuscan, Pabs. It's something that we're so used to seeing.
My days. I mean, it's good to be back in the Super League because this is the series that we get. Yesterday it was a bit of an eye-opener to see so many bookages, and obviously the day before. So it's nice to be back in the Super League where there just seems to be just so much respect for Tuscan. It's got to be the most used map, I think, right now. So it tells you a lot about map design. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind. It's a nice village, so I don't mind visiting there as much as possible.
Yeah, I'd say the destructible environments, if you lived there, you'd probably be like, hang on a minute, how's my window falling out so easily? But
Yeah.
it's obviously a map where it's kind of, we talk about it all the time, isn't it? That kind of that middle ground pacing for a lot of teams, and it's something that we don't have a Gavutu control for for this one, but we do start off with a Gavutu hardpoint. So we've got a bit of a mismatch. We kind of got a very, very slow mapping Gavutu. We've got the medium pacing for maps 2, 3, and 4, and then we've got the absolute frantic one of Bocage hardpoint right at the end.
Absolute madness, Bocage. We've seen just how many times it goes to the wire. I think we had two or three games over the last 2 days that didn't even get to the 250, which shows you how crazy the game is. Another interesting thing I was talking to someone about at the weekend was, I'm not sure if it has any bearing on Tuscan, but the lack of aim assist through some of the windows. It only occurs on some of the maps. I think Tuscan is one of the ones where that's not the case. He's still getting aim assist, but I'm actually just going through my notes now to make sure if it is or isn't. But yeah, that might play a factor in terms of, if people aren't aware of that. I heard a really strange one as well. I don't know whether you've heard the same thing, but if you run fortified
and you lay down,
you lay down and you regen 3 times faster.
Yep.
That's wild. Actually wild.
It's weird how people find this stuff out kind of like midway through the meta. It's not like something that's exactly been known to everyone. I mean, it's something more that's kind of cropped up recently. But yeah, I know the aim assist on the it's Berlin over towards P3. No, in the back corner by the by the dockside. Those windows there are criminal for not getting aim assist. The amount of times I've been sat ready to go aiming at someone, and I know I'm not a great shot, but it's just gone whoom, straight off to the side, and I'm like, oh Jesus, everyone's going to be witnessing the windies. But yeah, I know that is one particular thing. And a quick shout out as well to Mr. Jakob, who's finally in the chat, the man who does all the predictions without fail. Oh, and there we go. Got an absolute beamer, and Mr. Bean's in the chat as well, Pabs, after a solid performance from him over the past few days in the old elites.
Absolute tremendous performance from him in the last few days. Actually, we've seen some great performances from players who've moved teams as well. So Dens are doing well as well. It was nice to see that coming together. It was really good. So I'm still excited to see this evening. I think we've got another 2K this weekend, but I'm not sure whether we're going to be doing anything with it. But it'd be interesting to see how that pans out as well.
Yeah, so hopefully, if we're not involved in any way, we'll probably try and sort out that watch party thing we were talking about for a while. Because obviously, because it's not the official COD thing, we can obviously do a watch party with it. We won't get stamped with copyright. So if that is the case and we're not involved in any of like production or casting over the weekend, then we will try and whip up something.
We can't. That's it. That was the thing. Yeah. So once we'd had the conversation, it came out that they're just not allowed. You can't do the thing. You can't go and watch the Call of Duty games through Twitch and then do like a chat about it. You have to cover like the entire. You have to cover the entire screen or the. I can't remember if it was the screen.
No, not if it's streamed from one of the players' POV. If we're watching,
I guess so.
The boys, if Kez has got his stream up or JT or something, we can obviously
Snake or someone. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Actually, yeah, that's a shout.
I think that's the only workaround. I don't understand what, because Halo do it, don't they? Halo, you can do watch parties for. And
well, I mean, at the end of the day,
it's free. It's free advertisement. It gets your game out
from
there.
a marketing perspective, it's insane to try and restrict so much, and it just shows you again like the levels of lack of attention to detail across the board right now for the Call of Duty. The people who kind of run Call of Duty from top to bottom, whether that be competitive or developers or distributors, it's insane right now that they just seem to bite the hand that feeds them almost consistently. But it is what it is, and we have to roll with the punches until it's dealt with. I'm pretty certain once Microsoft get their hands on it, they will, be more than happy for people to just promote free promotion for their products.
Yeah, because like at the moment, any sort of streamer, I mean, if you're a company at the moment and you can try and get some sort of advertisement out there, arguably the most cost-efficient way is to do it through a streamer. You throw a couple of £100 at a streamer who's advertising potentially to like, I don't know. I mean, some of the bigger streamers, you're looking at thousands and thousands of people all the time in and out. It seems like something that's absolute madness. Oh, Mr. Jakob with the gifted sub. Thank you very much, Jacob. He's going to be... Jake, are you here for the game after to see Jack shoot some windies? I hope you're here for the long term, brother, and not in for your typical 5 minutes. Thank you very much for the gifted sub, man. I'll have a few of them as well. Oh, no. I need to get the thing 1 second, Pablo. You hear it, and I hear it, but the chat don't hear it. Make sure... There you go.
This is what I'm talking about, heavy lifting. This is what I'm saying, Chafin doing all the work in the background, and I just come in and plonk me bum on the seat and just get to chat absolute waffle.
You buy me that all important time though, Pad. Nobody else will probably be able to do it as well as you. That's why it's like absolutely priceless. While I'm here just like frantically typing away, you're there just talking, buy me time.
or I can hear you in the background just chuckling to yourself.
Oh, that was so funny yesterday. The Eric Pop thing killed me. That was so funny.
I can actually hear you in the background. You can just hear.
I
just
couldn't,
like,
it
what?
would look so bad if I was just pissing myself down my head still. Oh man, that did absolutely tickle me. But yeah, go on, sorry.
Don't worry, no, it's okay. Don't stress.
Yeah, I was gonna
I've
say,
still got work head on. I'm literally like trying to get my brain to function into Call of Duty mode. I'm still like I sit in silence for quite a large proportion of the day, and then to go from 0 to exactly 100 miles an hour. This like half 6 period is my transitional period before I start doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go!
anyone who's not done it won't have a clue what you're on about. They're like, why is he counting so
no.
progressively and angrily?
It's a thing.
Alright, so guys, we are now loading into Gavutu. The lobby should be, fingers crossed, okay. Now, the guys did have a crack at going the first time. We are now ready to go for Unbelievable Jeff versus Hindered Gamers. And as we flagged up, Pabs, we don't know much about Hindered Gamers. So again, another good opportunity to see a team that we haven't seen a lot of, potentially put something in the mixer here in this ACCL Super League.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously it's always difficult to just try and get an idea of what it's going to be like going into it, because we know a little bit about the players from Unbelievable Jeff. Obviously, we've seen Destroy plenty of times before, and Dizzy TT, I think it's quite popular across the socials, but we haven't seen a great deal of them, but obviously we've passed over them once. But yeah, I think I've seen Reese or Fudgic, or however you want to pronounce it, on Twitter a few times, but just not really had an opportunity to see them play. So big start for Pac, though. He's 4-1 right now, and he's on a 3 streak, which he probably needs to be taken off if Hindered Game and want to avoid getting absolutely bodied over towards that P3. And I'm making it a great start so far for the guys in blue.
Yeah, and Pac now 1 away from that infamous glide bomb. We talk about it all the time. There's only 5 kills required. If you can grab them on P1, potentially P2, and use it for P3, it's going to be a big kill here if Pac can manage to get it. So he is going to lurk just around over towards P3. Wait for the pickle. He's giving away his position. Oh, but he shuts down Reese, and that's 5 in a row now for Pac. Good work from him. Streak has now been acquired, and his teammates still lurking in and around the hill as he's going on a bit of a tear now. Pac 6 now in a row. He's got another man underneath him just to his right. I'm not sure if he saw him. It doesn't look as though he did, as he still tries to lurk around, but DNF's going to get some shots in the back as well, and CJ round the back of the corner will finally manage to prove that he is human. But a really strong start there from Unbelievable Jeff, and especially in Pac. Oh, Dizzy joining the party.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when they get to P3. He's going to be streaked out again. Just looked like a bit of lack of communication from Hindered Gaming, as they didn't really seem to respond effectively until the 5th man dropped or 6th man dropped, which isn't great. You need to be on those comms just to try and negate those streaks, because ultimately his kind of air ordnance is potentially going to help someone else to streaks, and they'll just save them up for the next rotation. So right now we're just seeing that kind of danger signals, Major, as we see Unbelievable Jeff go beyond a full rotations lead in terms of points, and Hindered Gaming do seem to be struggling in terms of kills, although Pac is carrying quite heavily at 10 and 3. So interesting play so far, but Hindered Gaming really do need to get into the game, but they're probably not going to do it from this particular rotation.
Yeah, so another bit of ordnance going to be called in there by Pac as they try and work their way in towards the hill. But you can see Neon is just watching over the cross, but his teammates all been taken down. But there's one for Neon. He can't grab a second. CJ still going to be watching over the cross as well, and nice shots there from range to take down both Dizzy and Destroy. So the boys of Hindered Gamers, they are going to look to try and get on the hill, but likewise Trock is just doing the same to them. He's just watching over their heady. We know how difficult this hill is to even get in, and there's another kill coming through for Trock, and the boys in blue look to try and soak up that remaining scrap time, but also, Pabs, you can see Destroy, big brain play. He's ready to go at the new hill.
Yeah, well, it's not just Destroy. Dizzy's taken up a really interesting position here. He's going to be able to see any players. So even if he gets tagged up, that information is going to be there. And you can already see number 1, Pac, setting himself up to cause any damage. And again, number 4, Trock, had no right to drop 2 or 3 players over towards P3 and get that scrap time. So that is a worry if you Hindered Game, and maybe they're a little slow to start and to get warmed up. But they really do need to get some kills under their belt so that they can at least get some entry time onto the hill. Because right now, Unbelievable Jeff have been afforded a free 20 seconds almost. Oh, and that is not good.
Oh.
If you are CJP right there, that is not good.
And that's going to put Destroy one off of a glide bomb as well. So him and Trock, unfortunately Trock will fall, so he's not going to grab one anytime soon as Pac goes hunting for even more kills. Triple positive at the moment, and he's just cutting down those red players left, right, and center at the moment. Destroy still, meanwhile, just on the scrap time, but Pac again, another kill comes through for him. And Hindered Gamers are getting blown out of the water here on Gavutu at the moment. As we go over towards the next hill, it will be Reese ready and located. on towards the hill. Just going to reposition for the time being, but he's got to be careful because Dizzy spotted him, but that's much better there from Reese. Able to take down one. Trock is still located out the back, and it looks as though, Pablo, unbelievable, Jeff, they've managed to flip out the spawns as well now.
Yeah, and that's a massive worry if you're Hindered game, and obviously you need to be able to hold on to that kind of defensive position over towards back green, back jungle. Destroy's got that all-important glide. Trock was one off, but we know Pack's got one in the... He was able to be taken off, but he got that 5th kill and got the glide. So 2 glides in the back pocket, and potentially going to be heading into that second rotation, which are eminently open hills, or they're at least going to be able to force those players indoors, which is going to make it really difficult to hold on to any time. And right now, mate, on a Gavutu hard point, 100-point lead, there's no lack of matter. As the boys, an unbelievable Jeff, although DNF does look like he's trying to raise the bar a little bit. But mate, look at those scores. They are super negative in terms of kills, and there's barely much time between them. DNF with the maximum right now of 32.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for their sake Hindered Gamers managed to pull their finger out with the help of this P1. They are going to be on the initial. Still got Destroy nearby, but they do well to take down the first couple of players. Destroy getting some shots in towards the top of P1. He's just going to tag up DJ just a little bit as some more players still lurk. Dizzy being one of them, though. One of the more slower performances by his standards, but again, kill feed lights up red, so much more positive viewing there for the Hindered Gamers and their potential fans as well, watching over this one. But Destroy now realizing the importance. He's going to invest the glide bomb, and a couple of players, they're going to be in there. Can they stay alive? Yes, they can. No glide bomb kill on that occasion, and potentially, if the boys of Hindered Gamers, Pablo, potentially take this hill and over towards P1 and P2, if they get a decent amount of time on this, now Destroy's used his glide bomb, that might be a bit more positive for them. They've still got the strafing run of Pack, but if they can try and keep him quiet potentially with that one, they're in with a shout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the problem for them at the minute is that despite, you know, that kind of the streaks that have been gathered, they're not really getting into the rhythm of the game. They're not really getting ahead of Unbelievable Jeff in any way. This has been the first real opportunity where they've been able to get a really good amount of time. And P1 obviously is a little bit easier in terms of control. So this is going to be an important. If they can chain some hills together and put a little bit of pressure onto the team in blue, this could be super important. And this is all about comfortable setups and taking the right positions. And they really need to start, you know, get this solid 30-35 seconds and then start thinking about that next rotation into P3 and just get themselves prepared. You know, they need to be having that conversation now about the strafe and run and how they're going to be able to, you know, potentially deal with it or respond to it.
Yeah, and Destroy there, just carved through a few players. Trock also on a 3, and so too is Dizzy. So this is now a phase where Hindered Gamers, they really can't afford to give away much more time here in this middle portion of the map. Potentially CJ going to try and work his way up. Some nice shots, though, to take down a couple of players. Trock's still inside the hill. Does spot him transitioning over. And now can he manage to grab the kill? He's still soaking up the time, and Trock's now on a 5 as well. So this is looking dangerous now for Hindered Gamers. They don't have the early rotation. They are frantically trying to send some players over. DNF is going to grab one, but he's going to get taken through. The glide bomb as well is going to be invested by Trock, so they want this done. Those blue arrows are ready to go. Hindered Gamers, they really need to get it. Oh, they need to just get their leg on, really. They really are struggling to get near the hill at the moment, and with 25 seconds left, Pablo, this is looking a little bit bleak now.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't the widest spread from the boys in blue, but they were able to get just enough information to know that there's going to be some movement from P1, and you've got number 4 there in Trock, who's going to take down that player. I think it was CJP manages to oh, his DNF just cut him down. So this is going to be super difficult for the Hindered game, and I think this is going to be potentially ending. We might not even see the strafe and run coming. And 250 to 107 is a real statement at the start of the game.
Yeah, boys in blue with a really good mark there on this series, and Colton with the follow. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. So, unbelievable, Jeff. They are going to take the lead in the series, and a strong respawn performance from these boys, Pablo. Obviously, we've seen what they've got so far in this one, and they Destroy, obviously, a player we know very, very well, had a decent performance, but pretty well-rounded on all of the cards from these guys.
Yeah, just, I mean, nice work from all of them. Obviously, we saw Pac going off at the beginning, just playing, you know, absolutely solidly and getting that glide in early. And we talked about this earlier on. Not only does that have the effect of pushing, obviously being able to push players out of true carry or control that kill, but it allows the other players then to get set up, and that's going to ultimately allow them to get more streaks. And we saw that time and time again. I think in that game, I think we saw 5 or 6 streaks gained across 3 players. So it just tells you how vital it is in Gavutu hardpoint, and I think that's why we've seen seen it in the rotation.
Yep.
So good opportunity now though for Hindered Game. And one thing, Major, we do see time and time again in these kind of games where we don't know the opposition is that we do tend to see a more solid performance out of S&D. So hopefully the boys from Hindered with a little bit more experience on a map that's probably played a little more regularly than Gavutu has been. So this could be interesting going into the S&D. And obviously we haven't got a solid historical understanding of Unbelievable Jeff as S&D players. So
yeah,
this could be super interesting.
Yeah, and a quick shout out as well to Twice and Leave a Will with the follows. Thank you very much, guys. So the boys of Unbelievable Jeff going to take map number 1 fairly comfortably, 250 to 107 as we look over towards the Tuscan Search and Destroy. So we'll see if they can manage to hit the regain button here. But yeah, it did seem like lack of kills was probably the main argument you would say for Hindered Gamers, Pablo. It was one where you say early doors, they were kind of blown out of the water, so to speak, in terms of kills, and then we kind of know how difficult that catch-up game can be on Gavutu, especially if teams have got streaks. Then they can invest into P3, and then sometimes we even see it used in P4.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's one of the, we don't see it a lot in the rotation as a hard point, but you can see why good teams do choose it, because you have got that opportunity, particularly if you've got players with excessively good gun skill, but also the communication that we saw from the outset when Pac got that 6 streak, that he was, you know, ultimately he was able to just wander around P5, and albeit it was still on that kind of difference between P1 and P2, but he was just wandering around P5 getting kills, and there was no real there was no response if there was comms. It just wasn't dealt with. Now the first player who gets dropped needs to be calling that out, and then they need to deal with that situation, because then he was ultimately, you know, allowed to take away 5 players who potentially would have been the next real breach into that hill, and that allowed the Unbelievable Jeff to get an easy 20-25 seconds there. You can't really allow that. So again, just one of those things where you go back to the lab and have a look through your VOD, and it's the teams that do that ultimately that are going to reap the benefits and go on to do better.
Yeah, I think it's something we talk about a lot with VODs. A lot of teams talk about doing VODs, but a lot of teams don't actually like literally set apart an hour or two a day. You know very well from the likes of being around Luti and those boys how much time they will put into VODs and the difference that it can make. And a lot of teams kind of overlook that. We know how naturally talented a lot of these players are, but it's kind of going that little extra step that a lot of the, especially the top 16 teams, do take sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it blows your mind, you know, some of the players that you think are just getting away on gun skill alone, but you see, you know, sometimes when you do get an opportunity to pull the curtain back a little bit, you get to see just, you know, the depth some of these players go to. I mean, I was blown away when Johnny W and Runner were playing together last year, and there's a lot, those guys put a lot of effort into kind of like the background of the game, be it, you know, outside of just gun skill and basic rotations. There's a lot of work statistically, and then obviously you've got Luti, mate. If I could tell you the work that he does at the hours that he does it as well, like he's probably the most generous person in terms of giving time to people who ask and are willing to just wait. It's unreal what he'll do. So, you know, this is why he gains a lot of respect within the community. But yeah, just awesome.
Yeah, so the first round is going to go in favor of Unbelievable Jeff, and we saw Destroy was actually rocking a sniper, so we'll see if he's going to get it in towards round number 2 as well. So a good, pretty comfortable round there for the boys in blue, only dropping 1-2 men on that occasion, and the sniper is out. You can see DNF is still lurking as well. I'm pretty sure I might have seen a sniper on the boys of Hindered Gamers as well. Either way, though, it's now going to be a bit of a bloodbath. There's 2 full. Dizzy and Trock going to grab kills. Dizzy's going to grab another one. Oh my god, that was timing and a half. DNF literally destroys Switch's guns, but it doesn't really matter. Nonetheless, another comfortable round there for the boys in blue, Pablo.
Yeah, and I mean, you've just got to look at we talk about the sniper as obviously being a great effective, you know, weapon for first bloods, but there it is acting as a suppressant because he's able to get the pick in round 1. In round 2, the players just play a little bit more cautiously, and that allows the Unbelievable Jeff to get that kind of control mid-map, and they dominate. And that's a team wipe. That's a perfect example of good quality S&D. Hindered Gaming are back to the drawing board, mate. You know, they've got 2 players who right now haven't really contributed in the game, and it's going to be difficult for them. I think that they need to really just have a reset and start thinking about a plan B.
Well, there you go. Need to think up a plan B now as DNF gets his head absolutely cleaned out. So it's now going to be 2 versus 2. Much better round, though, from Hindered Gamers, although it was a bit of a mess right at the start. If Reese can chow this corner quickly, he might be able to get a free pick here. Oh, Destroy just nips away in the nick of time on that occasion. And he is going to work his way over towards that P5 side. You can see, though, Reese Still hunting round the back. Number 5 Impact should be dead to rights any second. In the corner he is, so big pick coming through. And now Destroy is going to be the last man up. 1 versus 2 needed. Sniper is out. We'll see if he can manage to get any more magical plays on this one. Oh, man. The COD timing on both sides has been pretty grim.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's easy for us as viewers to be able to see the X-rays and just kind of have an idea where they are. But again, just out the corner of his shot, Destroy manages to become an MP40, and we know he is a very flexible player. He can play a number of roles, so we do expect him potentially maybe to get 1 kill. But we know how difficult these 1v2 clutches are on most of the maps within Vanguard, and this should be.
Ooh.
Oh, he does get tagged up again, Major. We do see again. It's very rare you see these 1v2 clutches. So when it does happen,
Yeah.
it is genuinely quite an amazing thing.
That's the thing as well, because the time to kill is so short. Literally, all it will take if you get tagged up in the first gunfight, you literally have to absolutely beam or try and get some good timing on that second player, because all they will take, especially with the MP40, we know how quickly that gun can kill. It's literally like it feels like a tickle sometimes, and it's just like something that feels almost inevitable. And I think that's why when you see kind of the moments that Denza had, especially against Young Cretins, when you see those moments in Vanguard, they can be so few and far between that's the reason we get so excited with them, because they are so difficult to do. But the boys of Unbelievable Jeff, again, early aggression. Likewise though from DNF, he is going to catch out one player and Destroy, and he's going to try and turn and snap onto the other man, but Pack is going to manage to take him down, and now it's all on Reese. He is going to be last man standing. Takes down 1, but still needs to go through 2 more players, and Bomb is down. Yeah,
and Dizzy with an immaculate 2-piece and great reaction time. And it's going to bring it back to 1v1 as Reese goes absolutely wild. 4 streak as well, Major. So if he's able to clutch this up, not only is he going to get 1 on the board, not only is he going to tie the round up, but he's going to get a glide bomb. So again, probably the most important kill. And with 26 seconds, he really needs to get this timing as accurate as possible. And I think he's going to need to just chase. Quite exposed at the minute, though, and I don't know whether that player's got an idea. I wonder if he's heard that player open the door.
Yeah, I would assume so. Knowing how cranked these players have their headsets,
yeah,
I would assume that Trock did hear that, but he's just playing the timer. Then he is just going to check that bomb. So plays it slow. No man on the bomb. Knows this round is in the bag. And obviously Reese just playing it smart, just playing it for streaks, Pablo. So potentially not the end of the world for the boys in red, although they do now have a 2-round deficit to try and make up.
Yeah, but they've proved to think that they can, as long as they're kind of a little bit more cautious, and as long as they play for trades, that they're able to get the kills. Again, some of the aggression coming out of Unbelievable Jeff probably took them by surprise, and I think they've still got in the back of their mind that Destroy might be rocking that sniper. So a couple of issues right now. Dizzy just absolutely going off 6 and 2, and it was good that he was able to get a couple of picks, a really impressive pick over towards the top church area from inside church, but then gets tagged up, so they potentially negated that. You would feel if they could get CGP a little bit more involved, that he would be able to potentially help them further towards winning a round. DNF is going to get that bomb plant, but you've got to watch out now for that team of 3 looking to push around from side of church.
Yeah, still keep an eye on Reese, just in case he manages. He knows that 1 player's there. Surely realises the window's open, the door opens as well. Dizzy flies around the corner, and Reese does get the kill. So now time is of the essence here for the boys of Unbelievable Jeff. And they manage to work a defuse here. Destroy. There's going to be a man around the corner. Flies around, but CJ wins a really important 1 versus 1. So now 2 versus 2. And Reese and CJ clutch up here for the boys in red. And they just do exactly that. Really good round there from them, Pablo. It was a much more coordinated retake and... sorry, not retake. Bomb plant and regain, especially when those players were kind of struggling, obviously, off that hard point. They look as though they've kicked into a gear now.
Yeah, and I mean, I was surprised he didn't invest the glide straight away. At that point, it would have obviously given them an advantage. But then, thankfully, I didn't say it. They make me my kind of inner narrative, and are able to get the picks. And it's a really good performance because it puts them in a strong position. And now Reese, potentially with the glide and the strafe, you can see he's going back right now to use it to get that information. And this could be an interesting round for Hindered game. And potentially now, with those 2 pieces of air ordnance, should be able to tie the round up. Again, we've seen just how difficult this can be. DNF not able. Did he get a pick? He able to get Pack, so it's going to be a 3v3 as DNF is taken down. But again, we see how vital it is to get accurate with that glide bomb.
Yeah, so now difficult situation. Boys in blue, because that glide bomb is going to force them back inside, so they are going to have to try and work their way out of said position, and they are still just playing this patiently. Number 4 in Neon is ready and waiting for them around the corner, but nice work from Trock. Manages to take down 1. Looks as though Reese is trying to work a trade. He is going to get some shots into 1 as he tries to reposition and potentially work something from a different angle. See number 8 as well. In Trock. Still toying with the opportunity to maybe plant the bomb. DJ and Reese are still nearby. and they still haven't planted this bomb yet. So the boys of Hindered Gamers kind of running in and around absolutely everywhere. Surely there's going to be a kill anytime soon. Reese has got to be careful. Oh, and Dizzy just absolutely beams him there. And now it's going to be CJ 1 versus 3. Looks as though bomb is going down, but I don't know if he can actually spot truck behind the bomb. He's going to get the kill onto him, so now CJ makes it a 1 versus 2. Can he manage to work the kills here? Can he get the second? No, Dizzy shuts him down. An unbelievable Jeff pushing that lead out once again. Pablo 4-2.
Yeah, really bizarre play. How you just when you feel Hindered Gaming have got control of the area, they've got all the information about where the players are, and somehow they managed to kind of mess it up. There's too much of a flank going on towards the back. They are outplayed, and then you get this almost insane gun skill from Dizzy as he absolutely bodies one of the Hindered Gamers, and it's a real turnaround, and it just goes to show when you've got kind of like that coordinated and great strategy from a team. Unbelievable. Jeff able to turn around what was looking like a dire situation, and they continue to go 2 rounds into the lead of 4-2, Major.
Oh, Destroy. Has he got the sniper? Yes, he does. Nade is going to go over the top. It's not going to get the man on the bomb, though. DNF is going to manage to stick the bomb. And now Destroy still playing behind the sniper here. Going to be a man on his right. He wide peaks. Got to be careful. CJ is close. DNF is going to be around the corner. But Destroy's going to run straight in towards the crossfire. Gets taken down. The trades there for Trock as DNF looks to try and help him out as well. And it is just back and forth at the moment. And all of a sudden, it is now Dizzy. Last man up. He's making the read that Neon's going to be up here. Is he going to check it? Yes, he is. Takes down one. Can he manage to make the read onto Reese as well? Oh, no. Good shots there by Reese. Does just about enough to keep Hindered Gamers in with a chance potentially at this one, Pabs, because if that goes 5-2, you do begin to worry for them.
Not just does it go to 5-2, but I mean, if you are going to, pick one player who could potentially get that clutch, it probably would be Dizzy with the MP40. But again, great play from the team in red just to keep themselves in the game. And we had the conversation just before we entered the round that, the S&D does tend to bring that level playing field. And at the minute, we've seen the one thing we talked about earlier on was CJP getting more involved in the round than we would see, a closer scoreline. He grabs 5 and they're at 3-4 and there's only a 1-round deficit. And honestly, this could be on a knife edge. DNF not helping himself. I mean, that's a super exposed position. Dizzy super aggressive, and they're already at a 2v4. And again, just a little bit of headless chicken kind of play from Hindered Gamers. If they were a tad more cautious with their lives, this could be a different outcome. But again, I just think unbelievable Jeff are just a little too strong for them.
Oh, I'll tell you what though, CJ and Neon. There you go, no dinner needed for us again, Pabs. Words have been eaten once more, so now it's still going to be CJ last. He's on the high ground here. Might manage to get the kill onto Trock. Never mind. Trock doesn't miss a bullet. Makes him pay. An unbelievable Jeff now 1 round away from taking this map. And we kind of spoke about it before, perhaps. We've had moments from the boys of Hindered Gamers. Sorry, I was struggling to digest my dinner there. It was Hindered Gamers. They managed to take the... They managed to take a few rounds here and there, but they're just really struggling at the moment in terms of getting that kind of momentum. They've had flashes in the pan where you think, right, they're going to do well, like there, where they reply with 2 kills, and then the boys of Unbelievable Jeff just seem to kind of run them over a little bit.
Yeah, I think they just can't match the accuracy and aggression from Unbelievable Jeff. So when they play a little more cautiously, they seem to be getting punished. They seem to respond quite well to adversity, but when it's their opportunity to really take control of a map, they're just not able to do it. A nice opportunity there for number 7 and Destroy to try and get another pick. Is Reese going to be able to get the 2? No, unfortunately not. Pack is going to take him down, but that does leave the game in a 3v3 and still on a knife edge. And, if Hindered Gaming can potentially get this round, this game could go all the way.
Yeah, and DNF there, just over peaking ever so slightly, but they are just banking on this top control. But Trocky's going to get spotted. The shot's a little bit windy, though, but he does have CJ around the back, and CJ might have a lot of work to do here. Unless Neon gets shot in the back any second. And Destroy picks off one. Pack's looking for the last man standing in Neon. They take him down. They get the defuse, and a solid search and destroy here from Unbelievable Jeff Pablo. They go 2-0 up now in the series.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to ask some questions about the decision-making. You've got to play a top fire. I mean, he must realise that he probably hasn't got the time to take that player down, and decision-making does play a part. He maybe should have pulled out of trying to get that kill and then maybe reposition now that he had the information, or pass that on to another player. But again, it's all these small things, and decision-making is a huge part. We saw it yesterday. I can't remember which player. Was it 11 or someone like that? Who, he goes to get a kill. Might be Denzer. Goes to get a kill. Decides against it. He's got a really good opportunity, lets the 2 players run through, and then the rest of the team are able to deal with it. And that's the kind of decision making that makes a difference between winning a game and losing a game. And right there, a really solid performance from Unbelievable Jeff. But I honestly think the Hindered Gaming kind of killed themselves with just a few really basic errors in terms of overexposing themselves and not playing their lives correctly, and ultimately making a few odd decisions.
Yeah, it's always the case in a map like Tuscan, where we know how we've seen it so time after time after time, where it will go 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2, then it becomes like a game of fine margins. So if you give the other team just the slightest error for them to pounce on, especially at this level as well in ACCL, you know the boys of Unbelievable Jeff, even if they get a sniff of an error of a player overextending or over peaking, instantly what is a difficult round anyways, coming up against kind of this caliber of player, becomes even more difficult because you're now down to 3 lives. So it's one where, although we see a lot of teams sometimes play incredibly passively on Tuscan Search, it can really favour them, because if they're not giving away those easy first bloods and they're making the other team pay for it, they're making them work for every single round. And it felt as though Hindered Gamers at times, they did well in a round, they'd go into the next round, and then they'd I think they'd get a bit too confident, overchow something, and then all of a sudden they're on the back foot, and then they drop the round again.
Yeah, some of the positioning was just a bit off. I think obviously we look at the player who was out, I think in the round 8 or yeah, I think it was round 8, the very last round. The second to last round, he completely overexposes himself in the middle of field, and he gets taken down. He's potentially going to get taken down by Destroy anyway, but he gets tagged up by a player coming out of you, and that's just insane kind of plays. And then you look at the player Dizzy goes and destroys in Church. Now, if you're going to go into Church, either go far forward and get force them to challenge you, and you've got that kind of angle then where you can deal with them, or go and sit at the back of Church, so that if they push through, you've got a decent angle and a decent opportunity to protect yourself. He's kind of at side door, so he's in this no man's land where it's just a lot easier for Dizzy to push in and get the kill. Those small decisions, those small choices to choose weird positions that are going to expose you that heavily are going to cost you in the end. And that left them in a 2v4 situation, and ultimately they get picked out. Then they go into another round, they play super aggressively and do well, or they play incredibly cautiously. At one point we did see them in an earlier round where they had 3 players in field, but it was towards the back of Church and no one could see them, and it makes you then have to think about where they are. You play a little bit more cautiously, and but time and again the boys from Hindered Game just kind of let themselves down a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously map 3 now, we're going into another Tuscan, as we do have a triple Tuscan in the maps there. If you guys are just joining on us, we have got another ACCL Super League game here between Unbelievable Jeff and Hindered Gamers, and Unbelievable Jeff now leading 2-0. So the first map pretty convincing, 250 to 107. The Search and Destroy a 6-3. But the boys now have Hindered Gamers. Pablo, obviously we're staying on the same map, but a bit of a game mode at the moment, which can be very very messy at times. We've not really seen, apart from like the really top echelon kind of level teams, look incredibly, no pun intended, controlling on control. It's one where, especially on Tuscan, it's almost a case of, right, we'll kind of try all these things, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it works beautifully for teams if they send a player all the way around the back, and other times they get bit on the behind for it.
Yeah, I think obviously, when we were in that kind of 3 hardpoint meta, it worked out rather well for teams that weren't putting maybe the time in that they probably should at this level. It's great, it's superb for those reactionary, fast kind of pace players. Now we've got that third game mode, control at this level requires you to kind of have good setups both defensively and offensively, but in particular with the 2 control maps we've got offensively, because they're both relatively easy to defend. We do see a lot of passivity towards both A sites in both controls. A lot of the defensive teams just looking to get picks without necessarily losing too many lives themselves, and then they go to kind of stack that more difficult B site. And we've seen on both Gavutu and Tuscan, but maybe more with Tuscan, that it's a much more difficult site to get offensively. And the top teams have got really solid strategies. If they're given too long in terms of time, they will get set up in such a way that they will punish you. And expect to see this potentially from Unbelievable Jeff, maybe more in the defense. And the other thing you will see from the top AM sides is that in the offensive department, they will be patient. Like, you will not see them throwing themselves over and over again at the hill. You will see a massively patient setup. They will look to get picks and just kind of squash in over time. So it's going to be interesting just to see how Hindered Gaming deal with the aggression and the ability of someone like Dizzy right now, because he could go on to maybe get 10-15 kills within a handful of rounds.
Yeah, so in towards map number 3 we go, and a quick shout out as well to Grated and Coles with the follow. Thank you very much, guys. So it's going to be the boys of Unbelievable Jeff looking to try and attack something, and obviously, as we come to expect. It is going to be the A site that they go for first, but number 5, Reese, already in towards the spawn. Ooh, but Dizzy, though, pays him. Nice little dividends there for missing a few bullets, and Trock already off to a decent start as well with a couple of kills to his name, and that A progression already, Pablo, is coming through extremely quick. We know how difficult this P1 can be, even on a hard point when you're on the side of Hindered gamers, but on a control as well, especially just trying not to have the temptation almost to throw players at the hill. It's a difficult one to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you can see you've got 2 players from Hindered Gaming who are playing relatively passively in terms of getting any A control whatsoever. And we talked about that being the same across both maps, and it does tend to happen. You don't want to kind of go 10, 15, obviously not 10, but 5 or 10 lives behind and still have the whole of B to defend. So it makes kind of sense, but they have, played to type almost, and this is going to be difficult for them. They are going toe-to-toe right now in terms of kills. So 23, 20. In fact, they've managed to go into the lead, which is great for them. But again, this is going to be difficult for Unbelievable Jeff to be able to get this. And right now, mate, it's good to see the kill feed going red.
Yeah, and will be the boys of Hindered Gamers just regaining for a little bit here. There's 1 kill onto Pack. The trade should be there from Destroy, and he is going to manage to reply with a kill. They've still got Trock nearby, though, over towards the hill, and Destroy getting some shots in. Isn't going to quite grab the kill, though. But I don't think they know that Trock is in the back here, because there's a few players now on the point that are looking to try and guard that side of it, as CJ goes on a quick flank, though, takes down 1. Another man in the corner. Dizzy is going to manage to turn around, and the trade comes through from Reese, but number 4, Trock, he's still on this point, and they are going to finally realise he's here, but no, it might be too little too late, as they do finally manage to take him off the hill. And Hindered Gamers at the moment, Pablo, they're kind of going toe-to-toe in terms of aggression. A lot better from the boys in red.
Yeah, their accuracy's been so much more on point. Obviously, CJP is having a fantastic game. You just feel if Neon could contribute a bit more, this could be a really solid round for them. And again, it just goes to show just how difficult it is to kind of be an attacking side on control right now. Quite a lot of balance over towards, or bias, you might say, over to the defensive side. They are 2 lives in the lead, but right now, Unbelievable Jeff just started to get a few picks, and it is now only a 1 life deficit. And with 41 seconds to go, this is that crucial time in the game where they may only have a handful of attempts to try and break B right now. So good opportunity for Hindered Gaming to potentially take an early round lead, which is more than they've done so far at any point in this series.
Oh, Neon got a big couple of gunfights coming up. He's only able to take down 1, so Dizzy is going to be able to get in towards those back lines, and you can already see Reese is going for a really quick flank. There is going to be 1 man around the corner in Destroy, but manages to take him down again. So now Unbelievable down to only 5 lives. Make it 4 now as they clear out the last man in Dizzy in and around the point. And with 15 seconds left, it looks as though Trock is going to have to go absolutely huge here in the back to at least take down some players and also get on the point. So now, where will the next kill lie? You can see in middle map there's going to be a couple of gunfights, but the boys in blue managed to win 1, managed to win 2, managed to win 3. So now all of a sudden CJ is left in a position where he probably shouldn't be. 3 versus 3. And now Unbelievable Jeff looking to try and get on the point, but they managed to cut down 2 players. Big kills coming through, and they won't get on the point regardless. And Hindered Gamers with an important round, Pablo. Much better from those boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we talk about this balance in the map. Like, that game shouldn't end in that way at that point, and it just tells you how manic this game can be. But particularly, I mean, this particular site is crazy across the game modes that you play it, whether it be S&D, whether it be hardpoint. The particular design of this just tends to, it leans towards wild plays. We've seen it on hardpoint, we've seen in S&D as well, and right there we're seeing it in control, where you can have a 6 life lead, but the defensive team can go big and bring this completely back down. That's exactly what Hindered Game were able to do. They nearly got tied up and were very close to the cusp of losing it, but managed to see it out in the end. And it just shows how difficult, even with some kind of skill disparity, how difficult it is to win as an attacking team.
Yeah, and Dizzy still hunting for more kills at the moment. Currently the best performing on the side of Unbelievable Jeff as he looks to try and help his team get towards equal terms here against Hindered Gamers. Some nice shots coming through from Pack, but again, nice positional work there coming through from DNF. The boys of Hindered Gamers not giving lives away as easily as we saw in that Gavutu hardpoint. And they're looking to try and hit a regain on this series, as it is currently 2-0 to the boys in blue if you are just joining us. But now Hindered Gamers, they do have Neon over towards that B point, and he is going to potentially get close to getting that first hit. We need to stay alive. You can see Dizzy looking him an aim nice and special. It is going to land, and he is going to get weakened down to only 15 health, but the first tick comes through. The double stack is certainly helping, but Destroy doing a good job picking up the pieces, and it looks as though they've also managed to make the read of those players transitioning over towards the A point, because if Pack just checks behind him, there's going to be a few players. He's not going to turn around. He's in between a rock and a hard place now, but there's still only 1 tick for the boys in red so far, Pablo, to show.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about that offensive difficulty, and now that we can see, obviously, this lends itself to that skill disparity that we've seen in hardpoint and in S&D, and you're starting to see it in control in terms of the attacking rounds. Although the lives are pretty close, you can see just how difficult it is for the attacking team to get anything more than a tick or two. Right now, they're doing really, really well just to get any time over, so close to getting the 2 ticks. It is going to be one more player, number 8. It is going to be Neon, potentially going to see it over to the 2 ticks. But this is probably one of the easier controls out of the 3 across the 2 maps, and they're still not able to get it. So again, it's a wild mode at the minute and wholly unbalanced, but still tons of potential for Hindered Gaming and Major. They're still in the lead in terms of lives again for this second round. So this has been a much better performance, so much more comfortable than they were in S&D and Hardpoint.
Yeah, agreed. And Neon is now just on the brink of getting that A point done, so they will buy themselves that additional minute of time, but now that clock is now ticking to get over towards that more difficult point in B. Number 6, CJ, still just lurking in and around, and Dizzy's got some really good time in there, just drops off the balcony, manages to grab the kill, so now it's going to be down to 8 lives here for Hindered Game, and so although it was looking pretty positive for them now, this is where they have to be careful. They're going to fly out. There's 1, there's 2. Are they looking for the 3rd? Or Reese is going to finally manage to drop destroyers. It gets a little bit messy in and around this P5 area like we're used to seeing on the hard point, but now we're witnessing it in the control, and Reese flies straight out, potentially a little bit carelessly. He does drop, and now the boys of Unbelievable Jeff, they've got the life advantage, and Hindered Gamers, they don't have any more respawns.
I mean, it's bizarre playing from Neon. He sees his teammates get mown down and then decides, I don't know whether he was stunned, but then he doesn't fly out. He plays his life at a point where, you're thinking you need to push out and get that trade now that you've seen 2 fall, and ultimately not able to do anything with it as he is tagged up at the end. And that's going to cost them big, because they were at a 10 lives plays 9 position at that point, and now it's 6 lives plays 0. And Unbelievable Jeff TDM'd them in the end. And it's insane plays. They were in such a strong position, potentially to go 2-0 up, and right now Unbelievable Jeff kind of handed around almost just by some kind of odd decision making.
Yeah, so now the boys in blue tie it back up. Rock on a 3 streak as well, so we'll stay on board with him and see if he can potentially push himself out towards 5. And we do see the defensive side does tend to be a little bit easier here on Tuscan. For some of these top tier teams, there does tend to be a bit of a 50-50. If you can manage to potentially pinch that round. And those lives now and ticks are going to be all important here for the boys in red to see if they can manage to get that defensive side, because they did look good in the opening round on the defensive part of the map. And now Trock just watching out the back. Really good reads from him as the boys in blue look to try and get this A point done quickly, and they do exactly that. 2 minutes 20 now on the clock. Kills coming through, and now this is the point, Pablo, where you talk about playing it patiently, playing it smart. They got a lot of time to work with here, and if they can do this efficiently, this could be a very quick round.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Unbelievable Jeff needs to do. They need to try and get control of back tank so that they can control any pushes from field when Hindered Gamers started to spawn out there, and then get control of that square bottom right, and then they are left potentially holding that entire back spawn, and they just need a handful of players around the kill to deal with anyone pushing from any of the other points. It's going to be difficult for them. They're going to need to get a consistent set of picks without dying. There's going to be a couple of big kills there from Trock over towards top plateau and top balcony, and this is going to be a dangerous time if you're the team in red. 23 lives plays 17, and some awful timing right there for Reese or for Trock, depending on how you want to look at it. Looks like it's going to be bonus for Reese as he gets a free kill, and some players are going to be on the chase, and this looks like it's a solid setup if they're able to get support from those 2 players without being tagged up. Number 6 with a big responsibility there, CJP, and unfortunately does not rise to the occasion, Major, and gets taken down. Dangerous times for the team in red.
Yeah, Dizzy almost managed to do the dirty there on a couple of players. He is going to take down 1 before he does fall. And Neon has actually managed to work himself onto a 3 streak as well. So patient play over towards this defensive B side. But now lives is where it's really going to get difficult here for Hindered Gamers. They have got half of what Unbelievable have got. And nice kills again coming through from Trock. Reese is going to manage to reply with a kill onto Pack. But now those players are going to try and get aggressive around the back. CJ is still lurking by the truck. As and when he peeks this, he might be dead to rights here. And nice shots again coming through from Trock. And his teammates now combining for 6, including him, as they look to try and get on towards the B point. Dizzy is just getting that progression through slowly, but with 4 lives remaining, now make it 3. DNF does just about enough to stay alive in that situation, but he's going to fall, and all of a sudden, it's now on Reese to try and work something magical here. He's going to take the man off the point, but now 1 versus 14. This is not going to be easy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in a shocking position. There's not a great deal he can do. And Unbelievable Jeff are going to take a lead right there. And we probably saw one of the quickest A takes. They had 2 minutes 20 in order to capture B. And you saw how important it is to get that spread control right the way from kind of back arch, back tank area, right the way through to balcony. So, and Unbelievable Jeff able to do it. And just look at the score, 23 and 20 from Dizzy, 24 and 17 from Pack. You know, we've got a glide in Shock, and it's just looking like a solid control route. I would be surprised, Major, if we see anything other than a 3-0 right now. Almost toe-to-toe at times for Hindered Gaming, but just a little bit, running out of steam a little bit at pivotal moments, and it's not really stood them in good stead.
Yeah, and already now, Pack showing what he's got in his arsenal there as he rains a glide bomb straight onto the face of Neon as he will fall, and this is getting a little bit brutal now. The boys in red just need to try and regain here on the control. We know how difficult this game mode can be if you start getting pinned back. Neon, that's better though. Able to fight his way out of his spawn just a little bit there. But again, Destroy just slams the door straight in his face. And these Automaton players locked into position are going to be really difficult now for the boys in red to try and budge. Trock is going to transition over to a potential part of the map where he might get a few players as they're all going through the bottom of mid, and surely the call-out's going to be there, but Destroy cuts down one. His teammates are going to grab them all around mid, and number 8, Neon, in absolutely no man's land, and this is what we were talking about before, Pablo, as Trock gets a triple kill with a glide bomb right off spawn, and the boys of Hindered Gamers, this is what they did in the hard point. They're just throwing themselves at everything. They're not playing it patiently, and the boys of Unbelievable Jeff are absolutely battering them for it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. It is one of the things you see from less experienced teams when they kind of get in that desperate situation. They feel like they need to just get super aggressive. But right now, 25 lives, plays 10 with 15 seconds. I mean, this is the kind of performance we saw out of Money Form yesterday in that first round where they just completely squashed Cheese Bakery. But unfortunately, there won't be a reverse sweep. There won't be a turnaround unless the time ticks away. That has been a dominating performance right there.
Well, there you go. The boys have just packed it in and gone home. 3-1 in the map, 3-0 in the series. An Unbelievable Jeff in that round. Wowee, they absolutely battered them in that one. So commiserations there to Hindered Gamers. It did look positive for them in phases, but I mean, yeah, when DNF is the last man standing and they've all gone home, packed up their shit and gone, it's one where you know it's been a bit of a brutal one for those boys. It was a bit of a rude awakening, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the ACCL Super League Hindered Games. I'm not sure if they've already played any games, but if they haven't, that is definitely an introduction and a half. Unbelievable Jeff, you know, you probably consider not one of the favourites for their particular league either, but they just give them an absolute hammering. 250 to 107 on Gavutu. At no point did Unbelievable Jeff look like they were going to be under any pressure in that. They just look completely in control. We go into the S&D, and again, I mean, what a performance in the S&D. Just a dominant performance, and at times the rounds they did lose was just almost complacency, and then they go into the control. It started off great. It really did start off so good for Hindered Game, and they had a really good first round where they, although it took them, you know, right to the edge in terms of the defense, it looked solid. They had a nice kind of like solid lead going into round 2, but they just slipped off. And we talk about that ability to stay at pace from start to end, and it's not just of a game, it's of an entire series. And sometimes, you know, again, we talk about that little bit of, you know, VOD practice or going over things, but sometimes it's also about, you know, maintaining concentration for that. I mean, peak concentration for the. I mean, it's historically important. You know, this is the. You know, there was so much controversy back in the day about the ways that players would maintain concentration. Well, one of the issues there is that you do need to maintain a kind of peak concentration in order to just make sure you make the correct decisions. And obviously, that's a trained thing. You know, it's not something you're born with. You can train yourself to do it. So, again, just these small things outside the game go a long way to winning your matches.
Yeah, so it is going to be a 3-0 to Unbelievable Jeff. One of our 2 series this evening, guys, has now been completed. Our next one, the game is due to start at 8 o'clock, but I've just had a word with Mr. Benjamin Wilson, and I think they're going to try and bring the game forward. I will just quickly double check. They said we can play in 20 minutes. So yeah, 20 minutes, guys. Go and grab your food, go and grab your drinks. We will just cut it to a quick short break, and we'll have Iniquity Esports up against Activity Esports, Pablo's favourite team name to try and pronounce mid-game. So that should be an absolute banger. Obviously, JMW and the boys, we know what those boys are made of. And Activity as well, they've got some very talented players on that roster as well. So that will be here in 20 minutes, guys, as we look to try and get all of our stuff, all of our graphics, and that's set up. So if you do need to have a quick break, then feel free to do so now, and we'll be back in 20 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We will not be long at all.
Close your eyes and follow me. We don't know what we're doing, but we're standing proud. Sometimes it's so confusing in a world so loud. We connect, burning bright, holding every breath. I won't sink into regret. I never will forget what you said. We are, we are, we are, we are love. We are, we are, we are, we are love. We are, we are, we are, we are love. We are, we are, we are, we are love.
there's something in us that
What up, squadron? We're back. Don't worry, Pablo is still somewhere. I just don't know where he is. He's gone to get some food, and he's been quite a considerable amount of time. So I don't know. Maybe he's been stolen from us. He should be joining us very, very shortly. We are due to start Iniquity Esports up against Activity Esports as soon as Pablo is back. I'm sure I'll hear his beloved Merseyside accent in my ear, and then obviously I'll switch the cams over and get involved. But I like this because we get a little sit down and chat. Feels weird. I try and obviously interact with you guys as much as possible. When me and Pabs and Chinwagon, we're difficult to stop sometimes. We do love a good old waffle. But hope you are doing all very well. And yeah, a bit of a battering the series prior to this one, but hopefully we get a good mix up in this one between Iniquity and Activity Esports. For any of you guys that do not know what the rosters are, the boys of Iniquity, obviously JMW, Mr. Ben Wilson, Zach and Dave, and then Activity, Motions, Ryan Gray, Hunter and Cap Relax. There you go. I'm glad I had you muted, Pabs, because I knew you were going to come back and say something. Where's my... let me get him back in. Where is he? There he is. Mr. Pabs is now back, and we're ready to go for our second series, Pabs. And I will actually show you and the chat the maps, because you don't know either. So I want to get your off-the-cuff reactions for these maps.
Oh,
it's a weird
on a bocage sandwich.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Kavoot, map 3 and 4. You never see that.
Well, I mean, honestly, JMW is the king of surprises, so it doesn't come as a shock to me that there is indeed a shock, but that's wild. We go from I think it's the pace from 1 to 2 is just that's crazy, man. That is like 1,000 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour, and then we go to that most weird kind of, in terms of like strategy, you've got the Gavutu is essentially the same, and then we go to that S&D. That's crazy, but it's going to be fun regardless. And I am chock full of avocado and eggs, so I'm good to go, man.
On the health kick, mate, it's doing you wonders. So
I had a juiced carrot and something drink as well.
Oh god, it sounds like drinking sick.
Yeah.
So the boys of Iniquity, they are currently sat top of the group. They've played 2 games where there's a couple of teams, in one especially in Flux, that you would anticipate to be right at the top of the group as well, who have only played the 1 game. So currently as it stands, you've got Iniquity first, 2 games, 6 points. You've then got Team Pulsar, who are second, 1 game played, 3 points. Activity, who are now coming up against Iniquity now, so this is technically first versus third. They've played 2 games, won 1 of them. So sat on 3 points, and then Flux as well, also on 3. Vitalized Black, they've actually played the most games. They've played 3, and they are currently sat on 3 points. So only 1 win for Smooge and F-Dots boys. And, Mr. Kubish with the follow. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. We've then got Milkers, who haven't played a single game, so they're milking everyone at the moment. So they're currently sat in 6th on 0 points. And then Liquidate Solar and Black Square GG. Liquidate Solar have played 1 game. Black Square GG have played 2, and neither of them have also got wins as well. So obviously Iniquity looking strong, Pablo. So the group's slowly starting to form, and obviously Iniquity, knowing this team, they're going to want to be right up there with, if Flux are going to top the group, which I suppose that's the kind of the anticipation that we'd have with that roster. Obviously Luke's boys very, very good. But you'd anticipate that Iniquity Esports, if they're not going to grab first, they should grab second at least.
Yeah, I think you're going to see. I think it's a lot closer in terms of quality between Iniquity and Flux. So I think it's going to be a battle between them. A little surprised at poor F-Dot's team, Vitalized Black, not doing as well as I suspected they might do. But again, obviously they've got that set 4 now, and I think obviously we're used to seeing them with Johnny and Aroma, which is a completely different set, kettle of fish. Black Square obviously struggling heavily, and they've probably got the single most interesting performance we've seen from the magical Don Rudy there. Liquidate Solar, team with a lot of potential, but again, they tend to be inconsistent. But, you know, with any luck, we're going to see a resurgent Tommy and a resurgent Gaza. But yeah, Iniquity probably in the place where they would like to be at the end of the season. I think if there is one team that can run Flux right the way to the edge, it's going to be them. So can't wait for that game, I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, so we are just waiting on the guys to lobby up, guys. There's a big shout out to the players for being able to bring this game forward, because our last one was a very, very quick 3-0 by the standards. Oh, Mr. Luca coming through. How you doing, Luca? Welcome, welcome. The Irish phenomenon. Oh, I've got the biggest block throw I think I've ever had. It feels like every 3 words.
Join me.
Yeah, I think the casting is catching up with us, perhaps, the amount that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm literally spending... everyone, when you're casting, just in the background, you hear... It's just me trying not to choke.
I did the same, mate. I did the same. It's literally like it just gets a build up of. I think it's the build up of waffle from us. It just eventually comes back to bite us. But yeah,
I actually met a dog today called Waffle.
please tell me he was like a light brown. I beg it wasn't another colour.
He was no, he was white and light brown, so like really light brown. No,
Oh,
he was
okay,
like
that's right.
like it's so weird, but he was like a really big like mastiff type dog, like a pit bull.
So he was
But he was so
he was
friendly.
huge.
Yeah, he was like one of them, them big muscly chunky dogs. You see
Oh
on
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
He was like the friendliest one of them. He was like super friendly with my dog, with Zeppelin. He was just awesome. Called Waffle.
And JW said, you both been kissing, you have sore throats. I would kiss Pablo, but he's on the other side of the UK and I'm lazy, so...
Yeah, he can't get through the beard, then he tries anyway.
Just tickle your face, wouldn't it?
I don't go around kissing men with ostrich testicles. It just doesn't happen.
Oh man, bit that, holy.
His son just laughed in the background.
It's like, it's slightly changed the other vibe of the stream. What's going on? What's he talking about?
Absolutely, not to worry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to this game now. Again, it's just nice we got deep into the Super League as opposed to deep into your pants, which is probably not the place anyone wants to be right now after being sat down for so long. But honestly, today's games have been today's game has been really good, and the last 2 days have been superb. So it's nice to get back onto the ACCL grind again. And I'm gonna shut up now because I'm just literally digging myself a weird double entendre hole.
You're digging the hole. I'm getting dug down with you as well with some of the stuff you're saying. So the boys of Iniquity Esports. Jack, get the boys together. What are you waiting for? Lobby them up. Come on. Otherwise, me and Pabs will just keep chatting absolute bollocks for the next 10 minutes while we wait for you.
Literally about bollocks. Yeah. This is the problem. See, this is what happens when we're literally off stream. Yeah, finally, save us, please. JMW, save us.
Yeah,
I bet.
I think I got one from Dave as well. So we are now lobbying up for map number 1, guys. If you are just joining us, this is what our map set is looking at. And map number 1, Pablo, going to be a bocage. The last time we cast this one, I believe this was the one where Ben was actually struggling on it, if memory serves me well. And I think they might have dropped the bocage hardpoint, and then we went to, I think it was maybe a Berlin search and then a Gavutu control, and then they won it 3-1, I think, in the end. So it's a similar map set to the last time we cast these boys, so I'll be interested to see if they do it differently.
I think Jack's just sometimes I just think he's a little. He warms into a game. I think he could probably go and shoot 10 million bots beforehand and then come into the game and probably have a reasonably slow start. But I think one thing we do appreciate is that he's definitely pulling the strings back there. So regardless of his performance, his teams tend to do well. And then once he hits that, I mean, if we're going to go by the numbers, I would suspect he'll have an absolutely amazing Gavutu control. But at that point, he will be firing on all cylinders. But let's be honest, at times he's dropped, 3 kills in S&D. He's been killed 6 times, but his team have won 6-1, and he's pulling the strings. So it's another thing about a player that potentially has just got really good influence over his team and does the work outside the game as well. So there is that. Bakai's hardpoint not really lends itself to Jack's kind of play either. So it's not really ideal for his style of play. It's just it's insane,
that's the thing with this roster. Obviously, they've got 2 very strong ARs in Ben and JMW. So Bocage is surprising that it manages to come through for these guys because they're a very strong, almost like 2-2 split. 2 ARs, 2 SMGs. We know what Zach and Dave do on the SMGs all day. So it looks as though like those maps like Gavutu and Berlin are almost catered for these guys. So I'm surprised that kind of a Bocage has managed to get in. Especially in map 1 and map 5, so maybe they've been cranking on it, and this is something that we're not really disregarding.
Over the last week or so, I've started to notice a change in strategy towards Bocage. There are ways to play it if you've got ARs in terms of control. And over the last few days, I've seen greater control of P1, where we're superbly used to it being this highly contested hill. Yeah. But now, if you're a good, strong side, if you're able to get picks on the opposition right out the blocks, you can actually get into a position kind of at a diagonal across Bocage and get a solid, 50 seconds on the P1 and still be settled for P2. And we're starting to see it from the very high end of the the game, but I've seen it a couple of times in that kind of in this Super League, particularly in teams that are practicing and scrimming and stuff. So you're starting to see some higher level strategies coming out. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the thought process for JMW, is thinking if we can get picks early on, if we can let the SMGs just run havoc, we can potentially make P1 and potentially make P4 really interesting hills, which are normally the mixiest out of all the hills. So it is potential for them to, you know, have a playing style which suits everyone within the team.
Yeah, so in towards map number 1 we go, and obviously we've got Ryan on the side of Activity, who used to actually be in Dave's team when it was him, Just George, Dave and Zach. So it's the interesting little bit of a storyline there between these two. We can try and fabricate that there's loads of beef, but I don't think there is between these guys. So there's, we can run with a storyline if we wanted to and kind of make up a load of rubbish, but we're not going to. Activity Esport, obviously a very strong roster when you look at this team on paper. We know kind of, I especially have seen Hunter play, and he's a very, very adept player. And Capri, obviously we don't have a huge amount of knowledge on Capri and motions, but when we've seen them play, they're a good roster to get in the mixer here in the Bocage. And already you can see Pabs, the boys, as per usual, going over towards P2 really early on.
Yeah, again, you know, you're not seeing that stronghold of P1. It almost gets ignored. We're seeing, you know, we've got 13 seconds left and only 12 seconds were taken at that point. So, again, it's all about this P2 rotation and getting set up, but not just that, getting into good position. But again, Bocage is so difficult. You've got to be a flexible team that can transition well. First part of this, it just went completely blue, but Iniquity Esports just getting set up quite nicely. It's going to be a big job over towards Barn for motions. He is going to get tagged up, but we are going to see Ryan and Capri just come back with a nice tasty Q kills. And not just that, it's going to be number 8 Hunter on the hill, and he's 3-3 now, Major.
Yeah, good start from the boys of Activity. They're doing well in terms of kills, and we saw just from that it looks as though both Jack and Ben are running ARs. However long they're going to do this for will be interesting to see, though. So there's JW. Oh, there you go. Manages to make it work. Picks off both Ryan and Motions. There's still 30 seconds left on this P2. It feels as though it's been going on forever, because all the battles for P2 go on throughout pretty much the whole of P1, and already those blue arrows now going to be considering whether or not they should rotate over towards the new hill. Another kill coming through from Capri, and see if he can manage to get another one onto Ben, who is still the last man standing on the hill. And with 10 seconds of scrap time, there's big gunfights going down over towards that rotation. But the boys in red now going to have to try and work their way through here, Pams, because the boys of Activity have got the rotation on lock, at least for now.
Yeah, they played that really well. Not only did they continue to battle throughout the majority of P2, where they just caused major problems for Iniquity Esports, they've able to get the spawns to what is, you know, again, a really difficult hill to hold, and they've got themselves almost a free 12 seconds in the process. So big moment right now for Iniquity. They don't want to let this hill go out the way and let the team in blue start to chain hills together. They really need a good break now, Major, if they want to, you know, stay within touching distance, because we know how good, in terms of Bocage, how quality it is to get kind of 30, 40, 50 second lead. And right now, Activity Esports potentially on the cusp of that.
Yeah, so let's see how much longer the boys of Iniquity can hold this, because with this remaining 20 seconds, it will pretty much put them back on par. But Motion's still going to be hunting for a man in the hill, which is going to be Zachary. But Zachary makes him pay. The teamwork, though, comes through as Ryan Gray manages to grab 3 players in that Motion. So good work there from Ryan. There's still going to be a few more players lurking. Ben's going to be one of them, and this time all the shots come through, and so does the melee as well, as he looks to try and just get out onto that 5th kill. I don't think he manages to get it in the end, as he does get cut down by Mr. Dave himself, and already the rotation's over towards the new hill. JMW is going to be here. His teammates are going to just spawn up on him, but Ben doing a good job inside the hill. A much better play from the boys of Iniquity, at least for the time being, but they're still trailing by a little sizable chunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 20 seconds. It's not really anything noticeable on Bocage at all. We know that you can chain a good amount of time if you can get set up, but this is probably not one of the better hills to do it on. The teams do tend to spawn relatively close, which makes it very mixy. We talked about it earlier on. We do see a lot of trades go back and forth, and right now you can see that reflected in the kill feed. It's when we go into this P5, things are going to get really interesting. With 16 seconds remaining, surprise number 5 there, Capri, pushing right through. You should expect to see these guys start to be thinking about getting set up. Number 7 potentially, you know, going to go all the way back over to 3 and get himself set up. And this could be, again, a problem for Iniquity Esports, who've almost, you know, completely stayed within that 20-second barrier right now that the team in blue have put up against them. So big moment. They need to break early on, and they need to get control. So the next gunfight here between number 1 and number 7 super vital, and it is going to be Dave who manages to get it. You know, he's a very effective MP40 player, so big shout out to him right there as he brings it within 10, and this is the first real opportunity we've seen from the team in red to do some real damage.
Yeah, and Hunter looks as though he's going to go from down low, manages to take down one. There's going to be another player in Zach just tucked up in the corner, so no trades as of yet, but Motions is going to manage to grab one, but now out onto the hill they fly. Ben is still going to be the last man standing, but he's not going to be anywhere near the point, so Activity do a really good job there of breaking in towards the hill. They've still got Capri and Ryan Gray just watching over the top of him, but nice shots though from Ben to at least take the man out of the hill, and with 15 seconds left remaining on it, Zach will manage to get on top of it as JMW grabs a kill as well. So now those blue arrows from Activity, they are going to start spawning out already. Dave pushing his way down this right-hand lane as we come to anticipate the battle for P2 is going to already commence. You can see number 6 out the back. Motions is going to be here. The pistol, though, on that occasion isn't going to be enough, and he gets both JMW and Zach. Dave will manage to grab a kill, but it's at least going to be the first wave of players that Iniquity aren't going to be able to push through, and Activity do a good job of holding those P2 spawns.
Yeah, absolutely great work. And it was unfortunate for Dave, he gets caught reloading, but he had so much time in order to kind of sort himself out. He finds himself almost at the back and, almost prepping for P2 before he reloads and gets tied up.
Oh, Jacqueline.
Big important kill feed as young JMW there tags up an absolute beast of players. And not only that, Major, AR, Bocage, JMW, Glide Bomb. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, nice work there from Jack. He is going to finally go down to the shots of Motions, so currently the best performing player on the side of Activity at the moment is Motions, as he's going to try and look for some more players underneath him. Snaps onto Dave, snaps onto Ben, and another couple of kills coming through individually. Really good performance there from him. As Jack is going to try and work his way up towards the hill, but Capri has absolutely none of it again. And still those red arrows are going to be hunting for those picks to try and work their way in. But the first wave of players has now been killed, and now the spawn's coming through for Iniquity as they try and transition over towards the hill, but it's not going to be easy with Capri on the hill and Ryan out the back, Pablo. This is going to be a difficult break, so they're going to have to try and coordinate this well.
Yeah, and they seem a little reticent to kind of flank hard on this one. They're still kind of pushing through mid. They need to get quite a bit of control. They need to get picks, but not just that. They do need that player out the back so that if they do drop, they're going to get spawns. Big kill going out the back. JMW, the man with the big brains, drops Ryan Gray and is able to get back on the kill. So big moment right now in the game. And Iniquity Esports, you know, while we were going over that, the kill feed goes red. They are just in the lead. And this is what we talked about, their strength, you know, their commitment. They will stay at pace and will stay consistent from the beginning of the game till the last person's killed, despite the heroics there of Hunter, who gets an awesome 2-piece, and Capri there dropping Ben Wilson. So a great fight from the front for Activity Esports, who again have just stayed toe-to-toe with the guys. Motions on a 23-19 with 32 seconds is a huge performance right there. But right now you've got to look to the not quite veteran player, but you know, one of our more featured players in JMW at 20-19.
Yeah, so initial gunfight. Dave wins one. Dave looking for the second as well. Snaps onto Hunter. So 2 there in the locker for him. As the boys in red get in towards the hill, the Contesto going to come through from Motions, and again another big moment comes through from him as he manages to got both Dave and Ben. Jack is still located out towards the back, and the spawns for Iniquity, they are still spawning really deep out the back now, so the boys of Activity going to just have to watch over this one. You can see Ryan is going to be watching this lane and takes down one, looks to try and snap onto Dave as well, and he's going to get some shots in, but his teammate is going to help him grab the kill over the line as the shots come through, and good teamwork here from Activity to hold this wave of players at least for now. Zachary still going to be hunting, and he's looking for more, and the man who he's hunting is none other than Hunter, and he's going to get some shots in. He does manage to slip away just for the time being as he chows out, but again, another couple of kills coming through from the boys in blue, Pablo. There's only a few seconds left, but they don't want to give up any of it.
Yeah, absolute work from both Motions and Hunter, and in support from Ryan Gray in that Granny's Lower Hill, and it was an awesome play. You know, they held on to the very first chunk of time really well, and then they're able to get mixy with it and absolutely destroy, you know, Iniquity Esports and go into the lead again at a point where you felt like the team in red were just getting to grips with the rhythm of the game and just getting to grips with the rotation. It just showed to show. And I mean, previously when we cast over Activity Esports, they have got this resilience and this hyper aggression that Bocage does lend itself to. So right now, a great opportunity for them just to solidify the lead again, about 30 seconds, and potentially, you know, go one up in the series. A long way to go yet. We know how crazy this Bocage can end.
Ooh,
right now, we're seeing this kill feed is majority blue, Major, which is worrying if you are an Iniquity fan.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of time to show for it as well, which is something that not necessarily all teams can manage to boast on Bocage. The contest is still coming through. Capri is just going to work his way in towards that kitchen. Does spot Ben on the outer lane, and Hunter's going to just fly through at him. Manages to get the kill, so now they're going to have to go big in the back here. A glide bomb's going to be invested. It's going to land right in the back pocket of Jack, so no spawns out the back as of yet. Dave is still lurking in tower. just playing it patiently, anticipating that there's going to be a few players. And number 3 in Ben is going to get cut down pretty sharpish as his teammates try and just work their way around the hill. But the kill feed again just seems predominantly blue. There's another one for Dave as he manages to take down Capri. But Hunter on the rails now. 4 in a row for him. He is going to get taken down just short of that streak. And in the grander scheme of things, Pabs, that might be a big kill here, potentially, if Iniquity do manage to get someone on the hill, because that glide bomb and this hill is a good combination.
Yeah, absolutely, and they just don't seem to be missing at the minute. You know, the kill feed has stayed almost entirely blue for the longest period of time, and every time there is a team getting wiped, it's Iniquity Esports, and obviously you've got to look to Motions, who's playing excessively well. He's the kill leader across the whole, the entirety of the game, and he's probably got the second highest in time, 1 minute and 6 seconds, so an absolute performance right there from that young man. But again, they're just dominating, and this has got to be, you know, we're into that third rotation. Iniquity Esports really do need to pick things up, because right now they are just on the receiving end of potentially a 60-point differential. They are just managing to get some time, so it'll be a good job if they can get this P1 chafing and see what they, and hopefully they can take this to P2, and we're going to see one of those crazy Bocage endings.
Tell you what, though, this has been a really good hold on P1 so far from Iniquity.
Yeah.
They've held the first pretty much 25 seconds of it. Motions is going to try and come around and grab a kill, and Ben will reply with 1 onto Ryan. There's still another man here, but Ben, nice couple of kills from him, and 5 in a row now by Mr. Benjamin. As the boys in red look to try and pretty much see out almost a really solid hold here on P1. The kills will come through once again as Dave is going to look to try and trade out some remaining players. They've got to be careful, though, on the rotation. Jack is just going to try and work his way over towards the P2. He is going to get tagged up, and Capri on that outer lane is going to take him down. Round the back he goes, and Zachary with a really big engagement coming up shortly. He is so incredibly one-shot, though. 6 HP to his name. You can see Jack again going round the long way, all the way round the back as his teammate is going to get taken down. And oh my goodness, the kill feed lights up blue again, Pablo. So now Jack, last man up in the back, needs to go huge.
Yeah, number 4 there, JMW, needs to go massive. He's going to need to get a kill here. Unfortunately, the information does go out. Ben is going to bring the glide in to try and see that player out the back, and it is going to drop Hunter. But again, I would suggest they've still got those spawns, but this is going to be huge if number 2 can get on there, and Zachary is able to get onto the hill. But this is going to be massive. They need the remainder of this time, but not only that, Major, they need to get set up in lower grannies, and you can see number 4 there, JMW, already thinking about it and trying to hold from the front. He's probably, the comms are going out right now. Not only do we need this scrap time, but we need to take it from this position, because they need to be set up going into this P3 with the maximum efficiency and maximum opportunity to take as much time as possible.
Yeah, now it's just a question of when does Zach try and help his teammate out on the rotation. Ben's actually going to win a couple of gunfights before he does fall. Hunter is going to shoot him in the back on that occasion. Zachary able to win 1 engagement. Still a few more players lurking. There isn't really an outstanding performer on the side of Iniquity. I suppose Ben and Zach currently the biggest standout performances at the moment. They're all pretty much there or thereabouts. Dave currently struggling at the moment at 30 and 37. But so many engagements like we come to see on Bocage, and it might come down potentially to the timer here. But now the rotation out the back. Ben can't win another engagement. Dave is still nearby, but he needs to wait for his team to regroup before they try and push in towards the hill. But in he flies. The bait isn't going to be able to be there for the trade as they look to try and get some more gunfights to come through here. But the boys in blue light up the kill feed again. JMW has to go huge. He's not going to manage it. And with 4 seconds left, I don't even know if Dave can touch the hill. Map 1 is going to be done, and it's going to go in the way of the boys in blue. Activity Esport with a solid map there, Pabs. 250 to 211.
Absolutely dominating that final kill with about 9 in the kill feed. It was unreal performance as they defended stoutly, and not just that, just, you know, being able to get those pre-fires in and able to just predict effectively. Really, really good performance from the team in red, and honestly, not a position we expected to see ourselves in, but this is a great opportunity for them going into what is a really unusual map set. We are going to change the pace entirely, though, as we head into Berlin, and this is, you know, the opportunity you would suggest if there is a map that we know JMW's team can be really successful on. It is this Berlin S&D, but what a performance right there in Bocage, and again, it throws the cat among the pigeons one more time.
So I'm just
Apologies,
quickly...
I'm literally choking.
It's alright, Pabs, because don't worry, the devs have choked it as well, because apparently if someone gets shot on the bomb, the game freezes. So I'm not really sure how this one's going to work out. So that's going to be an exciting one for us.
What?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. I'm just checking with the guys whether they want to run potentially 4 hard points or 3 hard points and 2 controls. I don't know. I mean, it's their call, really.
Since when has this happened?
Well, the game literally just updated in that last series, actually, mid-series.
Oh, my.
Can you cover up minimap and turn X-ray off, please? Oh, okay, so it looks as though they're going to play search. Well, if someone gets shot off the bomb, we might have a few angry players.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, an update right there and then, and it's caused a glitch in S&D. So welcome to COD 2022, folks.
Yeah. We are going to have...
guys. ASMR water drinking on stream. I've got it. I think my wife's had a chest infection. It looks like I've picked it up as well. So I'm like, apologies, but I am going to try and help Major out as he tries to do what is probably one of the more interesting Codcaster setups that we have to do.
I've got to do it.
Thank God that we get an opportunity within that production team to just deal with the with some of the divas that are in the top AMs, because it's now starting to filter through. I mean, we're going to be casting some Div 7s at some point, and they're going to be like, block minimap. You'd be like, what? It's always interesting though. The team that cries the most about minimap blocking always gets 6-1 or 6-2. And I don't mean these guys. I mean in the Challenger series.
Activity, they are 1-0 up. Hopefully we don't have any issues, because I need to sort out map blockers. That's done. Nameplate off. Right, so we are going to give it a go with Search and Destroy. And Mr. Higgy is in the chat. Have a few more of those, brother. How you doing, Higgy? Well done in that tournament, brother. Yeah, I mean, what a moment. Good to see you in the chat, Higgs. Hope you're doing well, mate. And yeah, we're getting ready to do map number 2 now between these two. So Berlin, Search and Destroy. And please, can we get some prayers in the chat that hopefully the game doesn't crash. Maybe unlock tools and turn silent plant. This works, it doesn't crash. Oh, okay. I'll give the guys a shout then. If we do get a crash right off the start, then they're just going to have to turn off silent plant and try and get it working. But the sigh. They try and fix something and they always seem to fuck it up at the moment in Vanguard, it feels like.
It's crazy, man. At the minute, it's absolutely wild. I mean, it feels like we're back to day one. So it's wild. Honestly, it throws up so many problems. The kind of flexibility and fluidity needed when we were in that first production thing, and it was like everything was wrong in Codcaster, and then everything was wrong for the players. Was wild. But we're going to head into S&D, and as I said before, Activate Esport with a good opportunity. They're 1-0 up right now. There's something. They're called something. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
but
testing it. Oh, there you go. There's the freeze.
Not good.
Ooh.
Oh,
Cheers,
man,
Sledgehammer. Thank you for that. Great job.
No, instead of another hard point, can we have 2 controls?
Oh, mate.
Give us a touchscreen control again.
Unplayable. Right. Let me put it back. Oh, I can't type. Apparently, you can turn silent plant off. Well, hopefully that fixes it, and the guys can just sort that out for Search, and then we can still get the series, because it'd be a shame if we were going to have to halt it. So fingers crossed, the new setting that everyone asked for, it's just going to get turned off and bunned off, and hopefully they fix it as soon as possible. But we never really know how this is going to unfold, so we'll just wait for the guys to lobby up again, and hopefully we can have another experiment. God, I mean, good to be a dev at this moment for Sledgehammer, isn't it? You get a lot of shots fired at you when you fuck up. God.
What was that? Sorry.
Are you alright, Pabs?
I'm just staring at the world then.
You're just staring at the screen. I'm there like, yep, I guess I'll just go fuck myself then.
Honestly, I was like having a little daydream then. I was just, don't ask what the question. I'm sweating. I am literally sweating right now. I should be on the antibiotics. I'm an idiot. But I literally just got completely carried away with something else. You just, apologies, mate. It's definitely one of them days. But yeah, hopefully with the option to turn off silent, it's going to be going well. I used to think if it doesn't work in the S&D, they should run 2 controls and potentially 3 hard points, maybe. I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, it depends. It depends. If we can get an option to veto another blockage hard point, that would be sound. The first caster veto in a game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that this isn't a problem with the Challengers Cup this weekend. If this fixes it, then right, okay, it's going to be another thing that people are going to have to work
I don't
around.
think people appreciate, though. I was reading a tweet by a player a couple of weeks ago. One of the originals guys, maybe one of the originals guys, saying that people don't really appreciate when you sound horn how loud bomb is. Like, you can hear
it's
it from
really loud
quite from distance. So like, it really isn't like it's not like normal S&D. It becomes something else because you don't get an
Yeah.
opportunity to plant or whatever or diffuse in that sense. So it's a big problem. And again, these guys are going to have everything cranked, aren't they? So again,
Yeah.
it can cause a problem.
But they
But I
are.
am actually here and awake. Apologies.
That's all right. They are just testing it now. Quickly have a look at the- So saying that, I don't actually.
Not
have
that I'm a bad egomaniac. I was watching a
I actually
video of
don't have a
myself.
Codcaster overlay for that one, so I think. I mean, we'll see how it goes regardless. I literally didn't even have a Codcaster overlay in that one. That's
No,
new.
what?
I had nothing, Fabs. I can literally show you the screen.
Oh, you didn't have a HUD. Did
No,
delete
there was no heads-up display. I don't know if it changes going into the second round. I hope that is the case because
Just give that delete button a bash when
yeah,
you go in.
no, it is. Yeah, it is back now. We just had a little bit of another hiccup. There you go. There's another one to add to the list of things that need to be fixed. But yeah,
Wow.
so it looks as though Search and Destroy is playable. So the guys are going to sort that out and play it. But yeah, you mentioned that you can sound hole bomb really, really easy on this. I mean, on Tuscan, a lot of teams' defensive strategies is you literally sit someone the other side of the wall, kind of on that field side on the outer lane. Just sit him there, lay him prone, and he can literally sound
Yeah.
when somebody's on the bomb, and then everyone could just launch
Yeah.
nades as soon as. That's why in that first week we saw a lot of teams doing a lot of bait and switch for getting the bomb plant and then failing it, and then bomb plant and just trying to bait out nades because you can hear it so quickly. And or Mr. Wait
Again, that lends itself to that argument, right, that we have all the time, that this game was clearly designed with trophies in mind, but they've definitely cocked trophies up so bad that they've not included them and then lied about their lack of inclusion, saying that it's not fitting with the time period.
It's not realistic.
And then they produce like these incredible, ridiculous, almost like laser
the Iron Man fortified perk. It's like, we can't, no trophy systems,
Okay.
but if you've got this perk on, you can take a glide bomb from a plane straight to the face, and an aid and a stun as well.
So someone please try and justify that is it a bomb site on Bocage S&D wasn't built with trophies in mind. They're absolutely lying to me. Lying, it's insane. So it's again another thing. Like, I think a lot of players are just like, hunker down, do the best you can, and let's get through to the next COD. And like, it's mad. All the lockdown restrictions are lifted, but COD's still going through its own grind, its own kind of self-caused COVID grind. That we have to live with. But it's unfortunate. But again, it's great to see the passion still there, even though the game's kind of a bit wild at the minute.
Yeah, so we are now loading into map number 2. So Berlin Search and Destroy. If you guys did miss map number 1, it was 250 to 211. So Iniquity, like the last series we cast over them, they are going to lose that Bocage. So they're going to look for Berlin Search and Destroy to try and hit that regain button. And the guys, fingers crossed, all settings are sorted. But as requested, the boys of Activity Esport, they don't want us to show mini-map, unfortunately, so down bad. So we are covering the mini-map, and there won't be x-rays for the first 30 seconds. The guys want to try and keep their strats close to their chest, so we'll try and work with what we got, Pabs. Obviously, I can see the mini-map on my screen. You will struggle to, which is the beauty
Color casting without mini-map is just awesome.
Yeah, it's just every color caster's passion, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but you just need. If you can't see what's going on, kind of on the map, it becomes difficult. And obviously, if they turn X-rays as well off, you may as well just play by play, because it becomes really, really difficult to kind of like look at strategies and stuff. And we missed it. Never mind. Go and have a word with the observer, Major.
Yeah, I know. He needs to get sacked. So Motion's going to reply with a kill. And already now that bomb is going down over towards the A site. Ben is just looking to try and work his way inside. You can see one man is there, but so too is Ryan as he looks to try and get the kill. But Zachary, good reads, manages to grab one. Now, where is this next kill going to lie? Ben is still lurking outside. And with 30 seconds left, Ben is going to cook a nade for the time being. In towards that office it goes, and he's got to be careful because there's a man very, very close. And Hunter's going to pick Zachary off. So now 1 versus 2. Ben's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we talk about how difficult it is in these clutch situations. Ben's given him an awesome opportunity, but he's got so little time. 15 seconds as he not only got to get the kill, and this is going to be super difficult. This is time. Oh my,
Benny boy.
Not enough time to get to bomb. He gets stuck on some graphics, so that's going to make it very frustrating for what was an awesome clutch. And unfortunately for Ben, that is going to see bomb explode. And Major, it's going to be an unfortunate moment, right, again, but Activity Esports with the opportunity. And again, they just look really a different side to the one we cast previously.
Yeah, so Activity going to draw first blood. 1-0 up. They will go. Now it's going to be down to the boys of Iniquity to try and work something on the attacking round. So we'll see what they decide to do for their first offensive round. See who's going to be throwing the short straw. I would assume it's probably Dave who's going to grab the bomb here. And no, it's going to be Zach who's got the short straw on this occasion. So over towards the B site, these boys are going to go. They try and work their way in. Zachary has got a couple of players nearby for those guys who can't see. You've got Hunter. Motions still lurking nearby, and Ryan is going to be watching this outer lane. And they're playing it patiently, Paz. We saw this a couple of times yesterday. This B bomb plant for some teams, they're deciding to take it a little more slower than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the caution really is working quite well for them. We do see them get tagged up by 2 players, but it's a smart play on a map that's this big, because not only is it difficult to get the picks, but it's difficult to trade once you have dropped. So very important to get information. It is going to be a 1v3, and again, I mean, we don't want to drive the point home, but these 1v3 clutches are so few and far between that when it does happen, again, you can see the amount of kind of like features within the map that allow you to hide and get corners is going to make this very difficult for Capri. He is going to tag up Zachary, so big opportunity. Gets the second as well against Dave, leaving himself with 23 seconds to tag up one of the most canny players in the Call of GTC major.
Oh, and he's just let a position go here. No silent defuse as of yet. Dave's on the outer lane. Oh, sorry, Jack's on the outer lane, able to grab the kill. And I don't know why I said, did you say Dave, Pad? Were you tripping me out? Because it was Jack that was the last man alive, no?
No, I said JMW, one of the most canny players in the Call of GTC in JMW.
Did you say JMW? I think I'm going mad. I swear I heard Dave. Oh,
Man,
Dave's rent-free.
I've clearly been doing, I don't know what's happened to me this evening, but things have gone west. And I don't know, mate. I'll make it up to you. We'll in some way. But right now, things have fallen off. I'll regain. Maybe it's the first time a caster needs a full regain mid-map.
Yeah.
But JMW going big towards the end of the map. And again, as I say, a very canny player and one of the better players in the scene right now. And he's had an awesome moment there and getting a pretty easy kill. And we do talk about this difficulty in getting these clutches, especially on maps with this kind of geography.
Yeah, chat, you'll have to give us a shout. Did perhaps they Dave, or did he say John? Which one of us is going senile? It's one of us. It's probably me.
It's got to be me. No, I'm definitely closer to the average age of senility, so it's definitely me.
So Hunt up, big pick onto Jack, and number 6 out the back, Zachary, is going to be nearby. But his teammate's going to drop, so now he's going to have to act quickly. 1 versus 4 is going to be required here, and it's going to be really difficult for him. They are going to plant the bomb in that room. And I'm not sure, is that the GA bomb plant spot? I swear there's a GA bomb plant spot inside the room.
There is. Yeah, there 100% is. I'm not exactly sure, but there is 100% a GA bomb
yeah,
plant spot.
I swear that's the GA spot, unless I'm going mad. I swear Motions was...
You 100% should get confirmation in the chat.
Yeah, chat, is that the bomb? Is that the GA bomb plant? Are we going mad? I swear it is. Oh, either way, the boys of Activity, they take another round, Pabs. They're now 2-0 up, and it looks as though the boys of Iniquity are going to have to try and pull their finger out. Sorry, did I say 2-0? I'm going mad now.
2-1, man.
We've lost complete full. Lost complete full. I'm just going crazy with all these random moments, but the boys of Iniquity are going to be on the attacking side again. It's because I've got to do X-rays as well as talking. Yeah, that's a GA break, apparently, yeah.
Unfortunate for the boys from Activity. I'm almost certain Iniquity will be all over that given the opportunity, and fair play to them. There's a reason it's G8. So again, no, I mean, it's still only 2-1 despite Activity's heroics. It is still 2-1. Zachary is going to get tagged up by Motions, who sat in Hill and a popular spot as well, and it shows how difficult it is to kind of preempt where the opposition, and when they do get aggressive, it is so very difficult. And with that support from Ryan as well, this could be a very difficult moment for the boys in Iniquity, who potentially have managed to tie it up. It is 3v3, so they just need to have a rethink, and JMW is still alive, so expect him to be pulling the strings right now. This is a good opportunity for that player over to the back.
Yeah, and sniper out from Ryan, still looking for the pick. Oh, he's going to get tagged up, though, but he spots the player. Oh, and not quite able to lock onto him, but the pistol. Oh, no! Oh, Dave! How's he got the kill onto him there? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Potentially in the grander scheme of things, if they can manage to get the trades here, but Motions gets the kill. So now 1 versus 1 up against Ben Wilson, who's going to come out on top of this one. Round and round they go. Ben looking for the shots, but it looks as though done just about enough. Oh, but Ben comes through with the win, manages to get the kill, and Iniquity Esports going to tie it up, Pabs. 2 rounds apiece.
Yeah, really nice play. Obviously, very difficult with the time counting down, but great play
Yeah.
from Ben Wilson. Another, experienced player who's well used to playing S&D. Under pressure, for money, and that kind of thing. So a really good performance, and the game relatively tight so far. And it's really nice that the boys from Iniquity are able to show themselves. You feel that if Zachary again on the 1 and 4, he's not quite driving the struggle bus, but he's definitely on the board. If he could get involved a little bit more and play maybe play to his natural strengths, which is the hyper aggression, that this would be a different round for Iniquity Esports. The Activate guys or Activity guys have got pretty much solid kills across the board, Major. So 2-2, not really telling us anything we didn't already know, and there's still plenty of time to play for this round.
Yeah, Ben looking for a kill, manages to drop Capri. So now 2 versus 3 for the boys of Iniquity. Bomb is going to go down. And now out the back, all the shots come through from Hunter.
Oh, Ben
Makes him pay on that one.
on a glide.
Yeah, he's 1 away now from 5. Where is his next pick potentially going to lie? Because we've seen this as well over towards that B site, Pabs. Obviously, the roof being pretty much one where you can just drop a glide bomb onto whoever's in there and manage to grab the kill. So if he manages to get it here, this might be an important moment here. Ben just looking to try and work his way in towards the window. His teammate in JMW is just lurking around the corner, but with 12 seconds left, they've got to try and sit the defuse here. But now can Motions play this perfectly? 7 seconds remaining. The bomb is going down. It's defused. Is he going to get the defuse in time? Oh, I'm not sure if he did. No, he didn't. He manages to rip him off the bomb, and Activity with a really big round and a really big moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice play by JMW, but just not good enough. And look at that from Motions, who had an absolutely awesome barrage. He must have been right on like 98% of the defuse, and he's still able to get the kill. Most players would be screaming, kill the bomb diffuser, but he gets the 2-piece. And you know what? That's an awesome play in Motions. Now on that 2 streak, potentially this could be a problem as we go later into the rounds. If he's able to get a pick or two in this round, this could be huge for Activity Esports, and potentially, this could take them over the line and they could go 2 up in what would be a relatively shocking result.
Yeah, Capri watching the outer lane. It is going to be a push over towards this A site. So the calm before the storm. Hunter spotted one. There's a free kick towards JMW. Ben is looking to try and help his team out as he gets one, and Zachary's going to drop Hunter as well. So it's getting a little bit messy now. Number 2, Motions. Hunting for more. There's still another man on the outer lane. Shots go down, but Dave able to win the gunfight. So now Ryan, last man up. 1 versus 2 is going to be required. He is going to run straight in towards one man, and he takes Zachary down, and he knows now where Dave is. Dave's going to look to try and land a nade, and I think it was that a stun? It looked as though it exploded extremely quickly. I'm pretty sure it was a stun, but another big round coming through from Iniquity. They tie it back up again, Pablo, and there's not really much separating these guys. Yeah, it was a stun. Give me 15 health. Jesus.
Again, one of the weirder anomalies of this game is the ability to just, the amount of times we see players die to stuns because of how kind of OP it is. It's made the game more interesting, but it has made it that bit more difficult, and a great bit of comms as well. The player tagged up, so good work between Dave and between Zachary as well. So huge plays right there to tie this up, and more importantly, they dropped that player who was potentially on a streak, and again, more importantly, Dave's on that 2 streak right now. So again, this could be super important as we head into the latter rounds. But good play so far by both teams, and no one really able to break the deadlock as Dave just bodies Capri in the kind of fashion we expect to see him do it in.
Yeah, and this is why whenever we play pubs, I've come up against Dave, I instantly message him and say, join my lobby, please, because that was an absolutely outrageous kill coming through there from Dave. And now, where is his next kill going to lie? 3 versus 3. Bomb is down. The 7 Ben. He's got an engagement on the outside. Over towards that. E4 managed to grab the kill, though. Shots go through. Motions mops him up. So now out the back is Hunter. Looking to try and pinch. Takes down 1. Looks for the second. Jack is going to hold strong, but now he's got not a time hit. 20 seconds. Needs to be quick. Motions is coming through on the flank. This should be dead to rights, and it is. So again, Activity going to take another round and push it out to 1 round advantage again, Pabs.
Yeah, really nice bomb site control. Kind of, they look kind of, is it me, or do they just look like a lot more of a mature side than the one we cast in the previous game, where they were back and forth and quite inconsistent? They look really solid right now. And when you consider they're going to toe with some of the more adept S&D players that we've cast over in particular in recent months, I mean, that is a hell of an improvement. And right now, Motion's still playing to form at 8-4, but Hunter as well on a 7-6, looking really, really good at the minute. And an Activity Esports just look like the real deal, and they are 4-3 in the lead. This is very worrying for the boys for Iniquity and the staff and fans, I guess, as well. So this could be a big moment. I think they need to bring this round back, and they need to start getting involved with the game, particularly Zach, who's had a really poor performance. He's 2-7. I think if he can get involved, and that would be a huge bonus to the team and potentially would help them just see it over the line.
Yeah, just a quick question, perhaps. Can you see minimap?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, just checking. Just wanted to help you out a little bit, buddy. So now 3 versus 3. Zach and Ben alongside Dave, looking to try and work some magic here. You can see Motions all the way out in the back, just waiting for that next potential moment to strike. Nade goes through. See those red arrows in towards that bomb site.
The red arrows. Let's go.
So now Zachary in towards the bomb site he goes, looking to try and get the bomb down potentially any second now. They've got to be careful though, because Ryan is still lurking, so he's going to get spotted. Here's Dave, and he gets taken down, and all of a sudden there's a pick coming through for Ben. So now 2 versus 2, but he's got to be careful. And Zach, I thought he was going to potentially do something a little bit nasty there, managing to spin onto the player. They just need to play this smart here. Hunter is still lurking. 8 seconds left on the clock. He's going to chal it at the right time. They realise they need to get the bomb down, but they get the kills regardless. And Activity manage to take another round. 6 is going to be needed. 5 now on the board. Only 1 more required, Pabs, and these guys are going 2-0 up.
Yeah, and I think they did really well to, obviously they're not choosing who they pick, but leaving Zachary in a position like that, it's probably not going to be his strongest point. He's very much an aggressive player who likes to be in that kind of CQB mode, and he kind of, it's difficult. I mean, we say the same thing all the time, obviously you want to get the bomb planted and control the time, but if you are left in that position, it makes it super difficult. Potentially he might have been better hunting for kills, which is going to play to his strengths, but it just makes it really difficult. And right now, Activity Esports just look absolutely huge. Ben Wilson, though, mate, with an important first blood. And we see Zachary finally supporting. This is potentially going to be a great round for the team from Iniquity Esports. Zachary, whenever he's got one, they've done really well in the round. So big moment right there. Motions. Nice response, though, as he tags Dave up. But it is a 3v2 major.
Oh, man. Ben with the sniper. I don't really see that often. And they managed to get those kills to come through. So Iniquity, they managed to grab another round. Down but not out. They still need 2 more without a response. And we'll see Ben here. There you go with the sniper. Cracking yet another player there. 12-6 at the moment is Ben. He does seem to enjoy himself on Search and Destroy and Berlin from when we've seen him anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to take the two big points from that last round. And this is the other thing that Activity Esports have got to really be wary of, is the guys from Iniquity will play right the way to the final kill. Their heads won't go down. Ben gets a really important first blood, which is one thing they haven't really been doing very well throughout the whole series. And then he's supported by Zachary, who finally gets a pick. And that's super important, and it's able to get them round. They need to replicate that round and the kind of performance that went with it. They need a big defense or a big attacking round, and that's potentially going to take us to that round 11. And what do they see? A JMW first blood, and that man starting to come to life, Majors, rather worryingly if you are an Activity Esports fan.
Yeah, but Motions, another big moment comes through from him. 12-6 at the moment is Motions. Really putting the boys in the backpack, and now 2 versus 2. It is going to be Zach and Ben, the last 2 up for Iniquity. 2 versus 3 required. And now where is the next kill going to life? Iniquity managed to grab it. There will potentially be a little bit more hope. They have got Capri just lurking nearby, as these 2 players are going to slowly work their way in towards Ticket. But now, is Capri going to turn around at the worst of times? They are looking for shots in. Ben looking for more, as there's going to be a couple more players just repositioning in and around them. They're running out of time, though. Zach's only got 20 seconds to try and get this bomb over towards the site and get it planted. And Hunter, he might play this to perfection. There's still 1 man. Shots in the back, takes down Ben. The trade from Zach isn't going to be there. I think he's going to have to try and plant the bomb. He's just going to try and almost wear off a few more players with bullets, but he's going on the hunt. I don't think he's going to grab it. He's not going to be able to. And Pab's Activity with a really big statement there. 6-4 in the search, 2-0 up in the series. And now the boys of Iniquity, they've got to come back to this one now.
Yeah, and it's one of the things we drive home all the time, is that when you've got that first blood, you really need to consolidate and start to take up some of that geography. Once you've got that pick, you need to then be bold almost. Motion's going huge, 13-6. But that stat line right there, again, we talk about 9 non-traded kills. Tells you there are certain elements to Berlin that just make it super difficult as a map. If you're too spread apart, you're not able to support your players around you. So again, back to the drawing board, I would suggest for the boys from Iniquity Esports, who just looked like a very kind of unusual performance from them, but great work from the boys from Activity Esports, and in particular obviously Motions again, who's potentially on for an MVP performance because he played so well in the Bocage.
Yeah, so now we're going into two maps which we know Iniquity, they are very well established at, but to be fair, the way Activity have been playing at the moment, as much as you'd like to say they might potentially be a favourite on this map, Iniquity, I mean, you wouldn't have called this one 2-0 and fairly comfortable, you would argue, for the boys of Activity. They've really done well in terms of silencing the more explosive players of Iniquity. I mean, Dave's kind of been quiet in this one. And you say, obviously, Ben had a really good search in that one, but then Zach was struggling. So they've done a good job of trying to keep these big hitters quiet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the things, obviously, that plays to Zach's strength is the respawn mode, and obviously he's fell off a little bit in S&D. It doesn't play to his strengths, particularly that S&D as well, which is obviously it's a huge map, and he potentially not going to be. He likes to play that bit more aggressively. So this is going to be a good opportunity for the guys to reset, regain, and potentially get the reverse. Let's be honest, Major, we wouldn't put it past the Iniquity guys to just go on and win the next 3 maps. But right now, Motions just is huge, and it is going to come down to those 2 players, and well, it's going to come down to a combination of the good AR support we know that Ben and JMW can to provide, particularly if they can get control of top boat, and then it is going to come down to the right support for their SMG players, because this is exactly what they need. They're 2 players in Dave and in Zach to go absolutely off right now, mate.
Yeah, so we are now loading in towards Gavusu control, and this is where the boys of Iniquity really need to try and pull their finger out here. It's going to be a difficult one when Activity are playing the way they are, so we'll see how the boys in red fare in this one. Activity going to be on that defensive side first, Pablo, so it's going to be interesting to see what Iniquity try and do here right off the rip, because we've flagged up a few times before where teams do prioritise maybe trying to quick hit that B point, but it looks as though it's just going to be a pretty standard A push here for the boys of Iniquity.
Yeah, and again, they're going to try and get these picks from Activity Esports. It's very difficult, though, especially when you're a team who pushes so heavily around beach like that. Number 8, he's just having fun over there. He's got a few picks, and he is finally going to get tagged up. Hunter getting an important kill that just keeps Iniquity Esports from being able to dominate that portion of the map. Ryan Gray, again, in an interesting position, ready to push, not able to get a tag, trying to get the it was almost like a mirror image as both players trying to do each other with handguns, but it's gonna work out in favour of Iniquity Esports, who are potentially going to get a solid tick over. And with a minute left, they've still got just about enough time to potentially give themselves time to get that B if they are able to do it. But again, we talk about that unbalance, Major, and Gavutu not quite as unbalanced as Tuscan, but does provide some kind of bias to the defending team.
Yeah, and Hunter lurking nearby, looking for more players. He's going to manage to get some good timing onto Spence. Takes him down. He knows that Jackie's top of 3rd, but JMW not moving. Manages to grab 3 in a row before he does eventually fall. Dave is going to get back on this A point. So they are going to start to get some more progression. And the shots coming through there from Dave isn't going to be enough on that occasion to take down any more, as JMW and Ben do manage to mop up the pieces. So the boys in blue are going to get taken down, and that A point now still doesn't currently have anyone on it, but they do manage to get JMW over towards that B point, and now this is the kind of the decision-making that they need, Pabs. Well, I was going to say that. Capri manages to grab the kill onto Jack pretty sharply. It's one where if he manages to stay alive over towards that B point, it then becomes a bit of a tug-of-war for Activity. Do they commit? Do they not?
Yeah, it was a really nice idea, but more than anything else, it was nice that it was time to work with Zachary. He was over towards that kind of P5 dockside area, trying to cause mayhem, trying to get picks, but more importantly, trying to get that information to tell when the players were transitioning back across the mid. Well, it's worked out really effectively, because despite them not getting any time on B, they've managed to get all that time over towards the A zone, and they've got a 4-life lead. 16 lives plays 12, and they've got a solid minute now. But again, look at that blue setup. It's really nice that it cross mid, but number 6 with a lot of work to do. Motions, the player who's been probably the best player on Activity Esports right now, with a lot of work to do, and he's dealt with one, but can he deal with Zachary as well, who is definitely firing on all cylinders, and there's going to be a nice bit of movement and a nice bit of play there to bring him down. And again, the boys from Activity Esports are doing well to hold that swathe of players.
Yeah, Ryan grabbing a couple of kills, almost looking for the one onto his old teammate in Dave. Just needs a tickle, I think, does Dave, before he is going to finally drop. He is just trying to finesse his life, but Motions pops him up again, and Zach, much better performance from him now on this map. He's going to get on towards the B point, but unfortunately just going to get shot in the back there on that occasion. Hunter racking up some more kills, and Ben trying to assert a bit more mid-map control here for the boys in red. Iniquity running out of time, though. 8 lives, plays 7. If they do manage to get the next couple of picks, which will be big, but Motions now on a 5 streak. Really big kills coming through from him is going to tilt the favour in terms of kills ever so slightly, but big kills again coming through. One from Zach, one from Jack, and it's now going to be kills in favour of Activity as it just goes back and forth at the moment, and the beams from Jack aren't going to be enough on that occasion as number 8 Hunter's going to look to try and get in the mix, and he might manage to cut down potentially 1 or 2. He's only going to manage to grab 1, but now Dave needs to get on the hill, goes out for the chow onto Capri, slams the door right in his face, and first round is going to go to the boys in blue, Pablo.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the things we talk about. It's a great opportunity if you get that defensive round in first. It's a slightly easier proposition to guard B than obviously A. But again, despite, you know, you would potentially have gone into this whole series arguing that Iniquity have a slight advantage in terms of gun skill. Well, that's been thrown out the window a little bit. We've seen great performances across the board from the team in blue. But again, it just shows you it goes down to the wire with nearly a completely 0 kills, and they're just not able to do it. So huge opportunity right now for Activity Esports to throw the cat among the pigeons. You know, they're 1-0 up now. They're on the offensive round, and you know, one thing you say quite often is if they can break the serve of Activity Esports, this could be quite the result.
Yeah, Capri just waiting before he does help his teammate on the point. You can see there is going to be a pinch coming through from Dave, but the reach from Ryan just to make that play to take him down means that there isn't going to be a man essentially on the pinch. Jack, can he get some good timing on towards the point? Pistol out. Not going to combine any shots though. Weaken any players as it starts to get messy on towards the boat. But again, Motions manages to carve down 2. Capri manages to grab 1 as well. And Activity, they are really starting to assert their dominance in terms of kills at the moment. They've only managed to drop 1 blue player at the moment, Iniquity, as the slaying is just really coming through for Activity. They look to try and send number 8 Hunter all the way around the back already. So can he disrupt the spawns? No, Ben, big reads, big kill stops that from happening. We saw that yesterday, didn't we, Pabs, in the last game that we casted, actually. I can't remember off the top of my head which player it was. But we know, I'm pretty sure it was a boy on the side of Sucre's Baker. I can't remember.
Was it Yako? Was it
Yako?
Massive at the end.
Yeah, manages to come around on the flank.
Yeah, Eric Boom had a huge moment towards the end where he was able to come around the back of the booty and then got tied up. But then Yako, I think, did the same thing and just that really slowed him over the line. Mate, I mean, you've only got to look at Motions is playing a completely different game to the rest of the players. He's 16-6. He's on a 5 streak, and right now, I don't think he can miss a bullet. He's played some of the best Call of Duty we've seen, you know, at the ACCL Super League over the last few weeks or the last week or so. Absolutely going off, and he's dominated this game. They've got this huge life lead right now, and you would lay that almost at the door of Motions again, having a superb game right now, dragging his team potentially to a solid result. And with 1 minute 36 remaining, you know, they've got a tick and a half. You wouldn't put it past them, you know, potentially seeing this to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and they are going to invest some streaks as well, Activity. They're going to look to try and get the man off the point, but now Ryan and Hunter both on the point. They're going to look to try and push out these respective lanes. Hunter in the back takes down Dave, who's really struggling at the moment. Is Dave. This is something we're not used to seeing from him, but shots come through again from Hunter, who's just got every single lane on lockdown. The second tick is now complete. JMW in the back, though, manages to grab 1 kill. Is this the pinch they potentially need? They need to try and get them off the point here, because that 3rd tick is now halfway for getting done. Zach is just going to get the contest on. They need some help, though, in the form of a few ARs, and there's one of them. Dave is going to look to get some shots in. Nice work from Dave to win. And Mr. Rutter, what a man, dropping the sub. Thank you very much, Mr. Rutter. And they do just about survive, Pablo. It's going to be difficult, though, with only 8 lives remaining.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the kill feed is finally going to go the way of Iniquity Esports, but it's too little too late with a 10 life disadvantage. We've got Motions on 20-19, supported by Hunter, who has absolutely gone off. Just in this round in particular, he's 15-12. Huge plays, and you know, we talk about the importance of kills across the board in control, but right now they are flying. JMW absolutely goes wild, but man, he had too much of a mountain to climb, and with 2 lives playing 15, this could potentially be a big moment for the team in blue. Activity Esports playing some hella Call of Duty right now.
Yeah, Zach and Ben, can they be a dynamic duo here in the control? Oh, Mr. Casey with the sub. Thank you very much, man. That is the Casey that we all know and love now. Thank you very much, brother, for the sub. So now it's all on Zach. 1 versus 13. And even Zach, as good as he is, isn't going to be able to make anything work on that one. So Activity with a really big statement. 2-0 in the control, Pabs, and we flagged it. They break the serve, arguably. They take the attacking round, and now it's looking really bleak here for Iniquity.
Yeah, I mean they literally left themselves the biggest mountain to climb. We are at ground zero for a reverse sweep right now. They've got to start playing completely different Call of Duty than they have been for the last two games, and particularly for the last two rounds of control. And I just think this is a massive uphill struggle for them. Dave is on the struggle bus hugely right now, 7 and 18, and Activity Esports just can't do any wrong. And now they're in that preferred defensive situation. This could be huge. We wouldn't put it past Iniquity Esports, but again, this is probably the biggest mountain to climb right now that you would expect they've faced in a while.
Yeah, Hunter, looking for more. Him emotions at the moment, they are really putting the boys of Iniquity through their paces. Zachary is going to manage to grab a kill onto Hunter as they try and get over towards the point. Motions, though, the man who's just been a thorn in their side all game long. And all series long, arguably. He's had a hell of a set of respawns and another couple of kills come through for Motions. So another 5 streak here for Motions as he's looking for more. One onto Zach. There's another one at the moment. He is just literally a kill feed on his own and he's just chopping them down. 7 in a row now for Motions as he goes on the hunt in middle map for even more kills. Another man in Dave round the corner. Motions doesn't miss a bullet. It feels rude even to switch off of him as he finally shows he's human. But already the life count looking bleak, Pablo. They're trailing by 7 even in this early stage.
Not just trailing by 7, they can't seem to get onto any hill. They've got no time on either A or B. They're about to face not only a team that are firing on all cylinders, a player who's gone completely crazy. They've got ordnance to deal with. He's got streaks. This is going to be a huge problem. And if Ryan Gray is able to get another 2 kills, this could be a monumental issue for them. They have finally got a player in JMW over to that Holy Capri. Not right set up with FMJ there, but we're going to see Motions just force JMW off the hill. That's going to land right on his bonnet, and that's going to force them out, and it's going to be straight onto the hill for Ben Wilson, because with 27 seconds remaining, this is going to be a massive moment for the team in red, because they are pretty close to getting pushed over in this kind of reversal of how we see them normally play. But this is huge now for Ben Wilson. He's got a lot of work to do, and he is on his own.
Yeah, and just got to stay alive here, Ben. He's got to be so careful. Ryan's going to land an aid right in his back pocket. So although that B point was oh so close to being done, you've now got Motions still absolutely rattling through players at the moment, and Capri might get the reason. There's a few players there as him and his teammate are going to drop as Ben and the boys are going to just about sustain. And Dave, hello, he's finally picked up his controller. Dave, 10 and 24. He's finally managed to grab some kills, and they are going to get some progression to show for it. But now, can Motions again be the man to make the play? He is just lurking nearby, just waiting for those players to pounce. And with 1 minute left on the clock, there's another one for him. Can he snap onto Jack as well? No, it's going to back him up. But with 9 lives remaining, Pablo, this is looking bleak.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to play passive. It's the smart way to play. You can see, with the exception of Ryan Gray, who's just looking for those picks over towards the back, the sensible move is just to let Iniquity Esports come to you, play your angles, get your picks, and just decimate them over time. It's going to be Motions again. They're probably the MVP performance right across the board on 34. Potentially, you know, not going to be able to drop the 40, but it come as damn close as possible in a control. And with 34 seconds remaining at 2 lives versus 13, this is not the game. This is not the series that we expected, Major. This has been an absolute performance. And again, you like to say it, but a hell of a statement right there from Activity Esports.
Yeah, now Ben, talented as he is, this is going to be pretty much damn near impossible the way these guys are playing. So number 7 in Ryan. Did he spot him transition over? It looks as though he did. He's surely going to be dead to rights any second now, Ben, but he's going to manage to grab a couple of kills. There is going to be those players, though. Look at them chasing him down, hunting him like sharks. He's going to try and get over towards the B point. He's not going to manage to do it. And wow, what a statement there from Activity Esports. 3-0 in the control, 3-0 in the series. These boys are not here to make up the numbers, Pabs.
Mind-blowing performance, and you've got to wonder whether the guys from Iniquity are going to have a little word over that GA, or whether they're going to say, do you know what, we got blown out the water, let's just take the defeat and move on. Motions with 27 non-traded kills, mate. That is an incredible stat line for a control. Absolutely going off. Control, he dominated not only the control, he dominated the search, and I'm almost certain he was one of the kill leaders in the Bocage hardpoint. So a statement really serious from one player there. And you know, we talked about not maybe being so familiar with handfuls of players across the game. Well, I guess Motions as a player we're not going to forget too readily.
Yeah, so the boys of Activity Esports. What a moment that is for them. 3-0ing arguably one of the better teams in the entire of the ACCL Super League. So what a moment there for those lads, and they are going to manage to get it done in 3 maps. Not many players can boast that against this team of 4, and fair play to those boys. They managed to pull it out the bag. They take it 3-0, and they will push forward in the division. So now Activity going to go away with the dub, and unfortunately they're GG's though to both teams, as Iniquity unfortunately are going to drop that series, but I have no doubt that these boys will come back stronger next time. You guys can see just the highlights on the screen. That is going to be our second and final game of the evening. GG's though to both teams. It was a really good series nonetheless. Obviously we get to see a few more players, obviously the likes of Motions, who we've not really seen much of, Pabs, but he looks very good regardless. And Iniquity, they are going to drop that one, and Activity come out on top. And also GG's as well to Unbelievable Jeff and Hindered Gamers as well in that previous series. If you did miss that, Unbelievable Jeff took that 1-3-0. So we are slowly starting to get the table forming, ready for playoffs over the next couple of weeks. But as mentioned, that is going to be it from myself and Pablo this evening. I will just quickly have a quick check to see if there is anyone that we can show some love. Both teams with a raid. I don't want to hear the sound of my own voice. That is not great. And we'll give we'll give Jay a raid. Probably he plays for RAF, and he's he's very, very good at Warzone. So we'll drop him a raid. If you guys can hop on the raid and show Jason love, that will be very much appreciated. But that is going to be it from myself and Pabs. Thank you very much for everyone, new and old, as per usual, for dropping by the stream. And we should be back tomorrow for some more ACCL Super League action. And if not, we'll catch you the next day after, because there's plenty more to go. But yeah, GG's to everyone who's taken part, and we will catch you guys later.
Take care, guys.